A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Your Coca-Cola bottler presents Claudia. Claudia, based on the original stories by Rose Franken. Brought to you, transcribed Monday through Friday, by your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola. Relax, and while you're listening, refresh yourself. Have a Coke. And now, Claudia.
David, have you got an idea yet about a present for Mama?
Shh, I'm thinking about it.
Thinking? What good is thinking? Do you intend to wrap up your thoughts in a big red ribbon with a sprig of mistletoe beside them?
Impractical. We'd have to get too big a box for my thoughts.
Conceded. But I forgive you because you're very sweet to come all the way downtown with me. Do you like shopping for Christmas?
I can't think of anything I like less. And I don't think you ought to run around alone in these malls.
Why not? I feel wonderful. Nobody'd know from looking at me I'm going to have a baby. Do you think we're early enough to escape the crowd?
I doubt it.
I doubt it. I doubt it. Do you doubt everything?
I doubt it. Oh, the devil. The traffic problem seems to get worse every day.
Blow your horn at him.
That would be a great help. He's in backup.
Oh, then he sees you, so it's all right.
What's all right?
It's the trucks that don't see you that matter.
I'll tell him a thing or two. Hey, you a little less on that horn, a little more on the brake. These streets are for private cars, too, bud.
You were wonderful. You sounded just like a taxi driver.
Well, that'll show him. He thinks he... What did you say I sounded like?
A taxi driver. They are by far the most interesting people in New York. The last one
Hey, watch out, lady. You want to get killed? Why do women always cross when the light's against them?
Women are emancipated.
Women are irresponsible.
Funny, when I'm in a car, I hate pedestrians, and when I'm a pedestrian, I hate cars. Does that make sense?
As a matter of fact, darling, it's a philosophy of life.
I never saw so many people. Are they all shopping?
I hate to think.
Are we lucky? Look, David. Look, there's a space right in front of the store. You could park right there.
There's a policeman in that space right in front of the store, too. Look, darling, I'll drop you off and park the car and meet you just inside the front door.
I'll come with you.
You'll do nothing of the sort. Here, you get off here.
Honestly, I don't see why I can't.
Look, I'm the driver of this car, the captain of this ship. You take orders from me, see?
Oh. All right, driver. How much is the fare?
It's on the house, lady.
Oh, I know your kind. I suppose you want a great big fat tip.
I do.
Thought so. Really, driver, I thought you were a gentleman.
Is that man bothering you, miss?
Well, he was just...
I know guys like him. Come on, move on there, mister. Don't let me catch you bothering this young lady again.
But, officer...
You heard me, git. I won't give you a summons this time, but if I ever catch you again...
You heard him.
But, officer...
Come on, beat it. You're holding up traffic.
Well,
And remember, if I ever see you again... Well, we got rid of him. These 7th Avenue cowboys. All right now, miss?
Oh, officer, it was very kind of you.
Nothing to it. Glad to help. And remember, any time you get into trouble, young lady, call on the law.
I will.
Claudia, stand away from that revolving door. You want to get killed?
Did you park the car all right, David?
Fine. No thanks to you, ma'am.
I didn't say anything to that policeman.
I know. He just jumped to conclusions.
It made it feel important. Besides, it was all your fault. You had to go and protect.
I was pretty good, too.
You were wonderful. Well, here we are, the whole store at our disposal.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Something tells me I've bitten off more than I can chew. Oh, excuse me. Have you got any ideas?
Not a one. Have you?
Nope.
Don't worry. I never have any ideas until I get right up against the counter.
you may never get that close, so let's try to decide right here before we get there.
David, it's impossible. How do you know what this store is selling today?
I've got a general idea, darling.
Excuse me.
If there's anything I hate more than shopping, it's getting into a store and not knowing what I want.
Oh, such a dull way of doing it. It's much more exciting to be surprised.
That's all a matter of opinion. Female opinion.
Shopping's no fun when you just go in and buy something and walk out.
Oh, it's too simple that way. Darling, we've gone through this entire store from top to bottom. It's almost noon and we haven't bought a thing.
Haven't you enjoyed it, David?
I have had a terrible time.
You have? I didn't know.
I was practically arrested. My feet have been tramped on. My tie has all but been torn off of my neck. I've almost lost my hat twice, and I'm sure my pockets have been picked. And I haven't seen another man in this whole madhouse of a store.
When do men do their shopping, David?
Obviously not 2 days before Christmas.
Men wait until the last day.
No, not this man. Are you all right?
Me, I'm fine. And I'm having a wonderful time.
Well, that's fine. But what are we going to get Mother? You said she wouldn't want something to wear.
Nope, I don't think so.
You said she wouldn't want something for the house.
Nope, I don't think so.
You said she wouldn't want a piece of jewelry.
Nope, I don't think so.
Can't you say anything but nope, I don't think so?
Nope.
I don't think so. Now, you just stand still and imagine your mama.
I'm Mama.
Now, Mama, what would you like for Christmas?
Nothing.
That makes everything very simple.
Let's not give her anything except our love.
She has that already, and I insist on a real present now that I'm in the family. Now, Claudia, think. Think hard. What do other people give their mothers?
I wouldn't know. I never had any other.
Sometimes I think you didn't have any. That you sprang full grown from an acorn.
Do I look like an oak tree?
There's a faint resemblance. Now, come on, darling. Make up your mind. We're back on the first floor. We started on the 9th. Where do we go from here?
Back to the 9th, of course.
Look, Claudia, we worked our way back to the second floor for the second time. You sure she wouldn't want a bed jacket?
Positive. She doesn't need a bed jacket. Mama either sleeps or gets up.
Sensible. What about a fur coat?
What would she want a fur coat for? She's got one. And it looks lovely on me. Oh, David. Doesn't everyone around you look happy?
Whoops. Everyone looks tired and irritated.
You can be happy when you're tired. Darling, you're having a miserable time, aren't you?
No, of course not. I love it. I'm having a wonderful time. Look, dear, I told you the only way to shop is to know beforehand what you're going to get.
David, don't blame me. Let's try again.
What?
We'll go back up to the 9th floor.
Oh, no.
And work our way down again.
Oh, no.
And we'll stop on each floor. And...
Oh, no. I don't want to hear another word. Come on. We're getting out of here.
David, I'm being swept.
Claudia, come back here.
I can't, David.
I'll meet you in the lost and found department. Did you hear me?
David.
Is this the lost and found department?
Yes, it is. Have you lost anything?
Yes, my wife.
Your wife?
I hope she'll have the sense to come here in case she finds herself.
I see. I don't think I've seen a lost wife around.
No.
No, not today. It's still early, though. However, we do have many umbrellas and gloves and one little boy.
Not interested, thank you. Are you sure you haven't seen her?
Tell me, what is your wife like?
Well, she's about so high, about up to my chin.
Oh, just perfect.
And,
Yes?
well, she's wearing a coat, no hat.
No hat. Did you say no hat?
Yes. Have you seen her?
Oh, no. Just, you say no hat.
Well, I like her without a hat.
Each to his own.
Say, do some people really come to this store to shop, or do they just look around and get in each other's way?
Well, personally, I don't do any of my shopping here.
You don't, huh?
No, never. They always seem to be out of what I want.
I see.
I shop at Mingle's across the street. Such a nice store.
You don't say.
Oh, yes, I do. It's a much smaller store. Do you know 30,000 women come into this store every day?
Yes, I know. I met 29,000 of them this morning.
And on Saturdays and in holiday seasons, 40,000. And the average purchase is $4.67.
You don't say.
I do. It's a fact. $4.67. Oh, yes, your wife. I'm sure I haven't seen her, except, of course, with so many other women around. How can I be sure?
It would be asking too much.
Honestly, when I get home at night, I don't care if I never get to see another woman again.
Well, and if you're sure...
Oh, yes, I'm sure. I tag everything that comes into this department.
No.
I'd have tagged your wife. The stub would be right in this box here. One must have a system, mustn't one?
Yes, mustn't one.
Now let us think. Where would she be?
If I had any idea, I would...
Jewelry?
No.
Underwear?
No.
Writing paper?
No, definitely no.
No. Shoes?
No.
Potted plants?
No.
Lots of women rest up in potted plants.
Well, not my wife.
Well, this is difficult.
If you don't mind, I think I'll just run
Oh,
along.
no, I wouldn't do that if I were you. That's the surest way of never finding each other. I'd stay right here like a St. Bernard and watch, and I'll stay right here and help you.
Well, that's very kind of you, really, but I
No,
think
not at all. It's the service. We pride ourselves on the service, and please, don't be impatient or worried. These things happen in the best of families. Why, just the other day, a woman came up here feeling just the way you do. She'd lost her baby lamb.
Her what?
Her baby lamb. She described it to me. It was short, with squared shoulders, and a flared back. Foreign lamb, import, very expensive.
I should think it would be.
Oh, indeed it was, for a coat. She was bereft, just like you, but I rallied my forces, and presto...
Yoo-hoo, David! Here I am.
No, thank heavens.
David, here you are. You got lost.
I got lost.
You must have. I couldn't find you anywhere. You were brilliant to come here. Thank you very much for finding him.
Not at all, madam. It's part of the service. I was just telling you.
Yes, thank you. Come on, baby lamb. Let's get out of here.
David, you angry at me?
Oh, no, I was never so happy to see you in my life, lamb.
Really? Then why do you keep calling me lamb like that?
Because, Claudia, please, let's get out of here before anything else happens. I want to get my nice, safe car and out of this lunatic asylum.
Jingle bells, jingle bells.
Hello again, young lady.
All the way,
Got your
la,
Christmas
la,
shopping done?
Oh, officer, hello. No, we didn't get a thing, but I had a wonderful time looking.
Oh, dear, you women. Why you like shopping, I'll never know. I hate it. Can't stand it.
You too?
All men do. It's the way we're built, I guess. Shopping is women's work.
There's nothing as exciting as Christmas in New York. All the trees and lights and the little children so excited. And look, Santa Claus on the corner. I'm going to give him something. I'll be right back.
Hey, you can't pull up here.
I don't want to park. I'm just stopping by here.
Hey, aren't you the guy who was bothering that there young lady this morning?
I wasn't bothering her. I was just...
Not much you weren't. Now, come on, step on the gas and scram.
Now, look, officer, I've had a terrible
No
morning.
back talk.
Well, you just ask her.
I ain't asking anyone anything. I'm just telling you to get out of here and fast. To stop bothering young ladies or I'll pull you in. If you don't shove off this minute, I'll... Go on, beat it.
Now, you tell me to beat it just once more, and I'll report you so
Back
fast.
talk, too, huh? Well, that does it. Friend, you just talked yourself into something. Let's see your license.
Oh, David, there you are. Hello, officer.
Yeah, look, if you don't tell the knight in armor that...
Now, David, don't get excited.
Hey, what's going on here? Lady, you know this guy?
Certainly I know him.
Huh?
And I don't like you talking to him like that. I know him very well. You see, I'm slightly married to him.
This broadcast of Claudia was supervised and directed by William Brown Maloney. Your holiday marketing needn't be such a chore if you follow the example of the men folks. Stop now and then at the familiar red cooler for a bottle of ice-cold Coca-Cola. Then you can shop refreshed, just as they work refreshed. It's wonderful what a difference that short pause makes in the day's occupation. Every day, Monday through Friday, Claudia comes to you, transcribed, with the best wishes of your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola. So listen again tomorrow at the same time. And now this is Joe King saying au revoir, and remember, whoever you are, whatever you do, wherever you may be, When you think of refreshment, think of Coca-Cola. For ice-cold Coca-Cola makes any pause the pause that refreshes.
Countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, X minus 1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company presents X minus 1. The Haunted Corpse by Frederick Pohl. It was 2200 hours when my task force of 135 picked men and a wax stenographer, all fully equipped for any emergency, surrounded the big house. Just as I stepped out of my Jeep, the old boy himself came storming out of the house with fire in his eye. While he was still ranting and raving, I gave him a soft salute and waited for him to finish.
Go on, get the whole bunch of you. This is private property and you're trespassing. I won't have it, you hear? Now go on, get out.
I'm Colonel Windermere, sir. My orders are to establish a security cordon around your laboratories. Here you are, Dr. Horn. Your copy of the orders.
You can take those orders. Say, who put you up to this? I know, Van Pelt. Why, that rotten, overstuffed, backstabbing monster of a...
Dr. Horn.
Oh, I know, Van Pelt. I ought to. He worked as my associate for years. But that doesn't give him the right to turn traitor and go running off to the Pentagon with a story about the Horn effect.
Excuse me, Dr. Horn. The General asked me to give you his personal assurance that my men will not in any way interfere with your work here. It's just a matter of security.
Security? Now, listen here, Lieutenant. I won't tolerate...
Excuse me, sir. It's Colonel. Lieutenant Colonel Windermere.
Colonel, General, Lieutenant, what do I care what full title you stick on your name? The Horn effect is my personal property. Not yours, not Van Pelt's, not the Pentagon's. Not anybody's but mine. You and your whole army can go plumb to the devil. Good day.
I watched the old man, he must have been all of 85, go stalking back into the house. During the night, a wire-stringing detail surrounded the whole place with 3-strand electrified barbed wire with guard towers every 50 yards. I inspected the whole establishment before breakfast the next morning. And then, satisfied that everything was in order, I ate breakfast in my tent. I was interrupted by the appearance of Van Pelt, the fat and chubby scientist who had sent the original report to Washington.
What did he say? How did he take it, Colonel? I mean, is he sore?
Sore as a boil, Doctor.
Oh. Well, you're here, so I guess he won't try anything. By the way, I didn't get a chance to have breakfast in town, and I wonder...
Oh, of course. Have some bacon and eggs.
Thank you very much. It looks delicious.
I watched him gobble up the rest of my breakfast. I was beginning to understand why Van Pelt and Horn didn't get along very well. Why Van Pelt finally went running to the Pentagon with his report. Of course, it was my job to keep an open mind, but I couldn't help thinking how I'd feel if my exec, Captain Lefferts, went over my head in that way. No, I couldn't blame Dr. Horn for being angry. At 1400, I went to see the doctor again. I brought along Corporal McCabe, my wax stenographer.
Well, what do you two want?
Good afternoon, Dr. Horn. I'm here to get your daily progress report.
Daily? You want to report every day?
Yes, sir. Refer to paragraph 8 of my orders. Corporal McCabe here is an expert stenographer. She'll take down your dictation.
Dictation? No, I won't do it. I absolutely will not do it.
You'll have to do it, sir.
Orders. Why, you and your stinking little two-bit army. I ought to... Progress report, you say?
Yes, sir.
You're going to stick to what you say?
I must, sir.
Well, I suppose I must reconcile myself to the situation. Now, exactly what is it that you want, Lieutenant?
The report, sir, and it's Colonel, not Lieutenant.
Just so. The report, all about my work, is that it?
You may speak freely, Doctor. Corporal McCabe has full security clearance.
Well, that must make her very happy. Yes, the report. Just so.
You're listening to The Haunted Corpse on X-1.
Have you ever read the want ads? Well, say one morning you pick up your hometown paper and spot an ad which reads, Wanted, for important position with fast-growing concern. Native-born American citizen, male or female, at least 35 years of age. Must be able to give proof of 14-year residence in the United States. Position of 4-year duration with possible renewal. Room and board furnished. Yearly salary, $100,000. With an additional $40,000 for travel and official entertainment, plus $50,000 for operating expenses. Summer residence furnished with paid vacation. Qualifications of applicant carefully checked before position assigned. Now, an ad sounds mighty attractive, doesn't it? But the job it describes isn't a soft one by any means. As a matter of fact, it's probably the toughest job in America, that of being President of the United States. And the first job of each president is to take an oath that he will faithfully execute the office to which he's been named and will, to the best of his ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. Yes, the job of being president is a mighty important one, but preserving and protecting the Constitution is even more important, because the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. The president may veto a bill, but if Congress, by a 2/3 majority, passes the bill over his veto, it becomes a law under the Constitution, unless set aside by judicial judgment. Thus, the best interests of the people are protected. That's how your American Constitution works.
Now, back to X-1 and The Haunted Corpse.
I wasn't deceived by Dr. Horn's sudden willingness to cooperate. He was probably trying to win my confidence so they could find a way to phone his congressman and make trouble for the whole operation. But I merely nodded to Corporal McCabe, who opened her notebook and got ready to take the dictation.
Very well. This machine you see here is my polycloid quasitron. Now, to understand its operation, let me explain.
Sir, excuse me, that term...
Oh, yes. Dr. Horn, would you kindly spell those two words for the corporal?
Just so. Polycloid quasitron.
Thank you, sir.
Just so. Well, now, the various...
It was rough going for about an hour. The doctor had to pause every 50 seconds to spell a word for McCabe, who was looking more and more ill at ease. But there was one virtue to this slow pace. I was able to follow it all fairly well. And when the doctor finally stopped, I was ready to sum it up for him.
I hope, Lieutenant, that I made myself clear?
Yes, sir. In other words, you've perfected a method of electronically killing a man without touching him.
What? Electronically killing a man without touching him?
Yes, sir.
Just so, Lieutenant, just so. Will you tell me one thing? What in the sweet name of heaven did I say that gave you that particularly stupid notion?
Well, sir, that's what you said. It is also what my briefing from General Follansby at the Pentagon gave me to understand.
Oh, rubbish. Oh, I see what you mean. Just so. I confess I wondered why you're here in the first place. The government feels that this is a weapon.
Of course, sir.
Oh, well, now we understand each other. My machine renders humans into corpses. So does a chipped flint, for that matter. Yeah, but never mind. That is the aspect which interests you. Yeah. Very good. But mark this, Lieutenant. My quasitron does something no chipped flint can do. It removes from the human body that thing which possesses only a negative definition, the quantity that we'll term X, which, added to the body, produces a man, subtracted leaves a corpse. Oh, but you don't care about all that, do you?
Sir, I don't follow you.
No, you're darn right you don't. We're all corpses, don't you see? Corpses inhabited by ghosts. And there's only one man in the world who can separate the two without destroying them, and that is me. And there's only one way to do it, and that's with the quasitron. Good day, Lieutenant.
Corporal McCabe and I left hurriedly. I was ready now to make my situation analysis according to orders, but I decided to check one fact. I summoned Van Pelt to my tent that night.
No, Colonel Windermere. He's perfectly sane, perfectly. But he is also dangerous, particularly dangerous to me. I mean, of course, if I hadn't the Army's promise of complete protection. Colonel, that bowl of fruit looks tempting. I wonder if I...
Oh, help yourself, Dr. Pelt.
Thank you. Tasty. Very tasty.
Dr. Van Pelt, I must have the straight dope on horn. What's this ghost business?
My goodness, Colonel, that's just the old man's way of putting it. Forget the term ghost if it really displeases you. Now, whatever you want to call this thing in the body, life, intelligence, or whatnot, this is what his machine works on. If he wishes, he can replace this quantity or remove it from body to body. You might call the operation a transference. A transference of personality. Yes, that will describe it.
Well, I got rid of Van Pelt fast after that. Now I had something really exciting to look into. This old man had a machine that could take a person out of his body and put him into another one if he liked. Next morning I demanded a demonstration, and Dr. Horn showed me how he could change a hen and a cocker spaniel with the quasitron. It was weird, but impressive and convincing.
Well, Lieutenant, do you believe in my machine now?
Remarkable. But can it work with people?
Oh, indeed it can, but these ridiculous laws governing the conduct of institutions. Heaven knows I've tried to get permission for an experiment. A man dying of cancer, for instance, to exchange with a feeble-minded youth. Why not? Put the sound mind in the sound body and let the other die. But no, they won't have it.
I see. Then it actually has never been done.
No, but... Now, you're here, Lieutenant, a military man, very brave. Just so. All I've ever needed was a volunteer. Now, Van Pelt refused, the coward. So is everyone else, but now you...
Negative, sir, negative. I am not a lieutenant, doctor. I am a field-grade officer. But if there is a need for volunteers, I can find them for you, sir.
You can? You really can?
Yes, sir. I can think of several likely prospects. Give me until tomorrow.
Just so, Lieutenant. Major, Captain, then. Tomorrow will do splendidly.
My immediate job was to get the volunteers. I would require two. The first was easy. A private in Able Company. I sent for him, and he appeared looking apprehensive.
Sir, the colonel sent for me?
I did. You're the latrine orderly of Able Company?
Yes, sir, I am, sir.
Now, there's a report on you. AWOL. That means a court-martial. You're aware of the possible consequences?
Yes, sir, I am, sir.
There is a possibility that these charges might be dropped. It depends upon our finding a volunteer for a special job.
Is that all, sir? Oh, I volunteer, Colonel. When do I start, sir?
That was one. The second was a bit more of a problem. I thought at once of my executive officer, Captain Lefferts, a fine officer typical of the best leadership type. He had just been married, and he had no desire to be transferred to Saudi Arabia.
Let me get this straight, Colonel. Are you saying that if I volunteer for this assignment, there's a possibility my orders might be changed?
Captain, I hold your transfer orders in my hand. If you decide to volunteer, I will destroy them.
Sir, I volunteer.
So it was done. The next morning, both men were strapped into Horn's infernal machine. There was a great crackling and sparking.
There. It's done.
May I speak to my men?
Go right ahead, Lieutenant.
The orderly first. You, name, rank, and serial number.
Sir? Lefferts, Robert T., Captain AUS, serial number 033-39615. Oh, sir, about that transfer to Saudi Arabia.
No, that'll do. Good heavens. And now you.
Colonel, sir, I changed my mind. If I can't go back to latrine orderly, I'll take the guardhouse, sir.
It worked. At ease, men. You really did it, Dr. Horn.
Just so, Lieutenant, just so. I really did.
Horn switched the two men back again while I rushed for the telephone. Crash priority, the Pentagon, General Follansby, priority and classified. Ask the general to stand by for scrambler. A weapon? This was far more than a weapon. We had the world by the tail. I got through to the general, and I was excited as I pointed out the implications of the device. Suppose a hostile representative visited this country, I told him. One of our men could switch places with him, and no one would ever guess. In time, we could have our men in the top positions of every government in the world. Our men reporting to us. It was the greatest opportunity any government ever had. The general was impressed in spite of himself. We arranged an appointment in the Pentagon for the next morning. As I hung up, I fingered the silver leaf on my shoulder. It would soon be a star.
Colonel!
What is it, O'Hare?
Sir, I don't know how to put this. I'm afraid Dr. Van Pelt has gone psycho, sir.
Why, Sergeant? What's he done?
He's raving, sir. He says Dr. Horn wants to live forever. He says all Horn was waiting for was to make a test on a human being. He says now you've given Horn his test, Horn is going to grab the first human being he can find and, excuse me, sir, this is what he said, and steal his body.
Great Scott! Where's Van Pelt now?
In the laboratory, sir, with Dr. Horn. Gee, is everybody around here nuts?
I saw it all in a flash. Dr. Horn had a brilliant mind but a worn-out body. He was going to make a switch before his own aging machinery broke down. I had to stop him. Van Pelt was there literally asking for it. When I opened the door of the lab, I stumbled over Horn's body, dead. He'd already done it. Next to his body sprawled my whack, Corporal McCabe, stunned by a blow on the head as she tried to prevent the tragedy. And there at the machine was Van Pelt, or what used to be Van Pelt, striking the complicated machinery with one blow after another.
Too late, Colonel! Too late!
Don't destroy the machine! Stop!
It's too late, I tell you! Too late!
Not that I know who you are! You're not Van Pelt! You're Horn! Get away from that machine!
No! Not till it's destroyed! Destroyed! Destroyed!
McCabe, you killed him. You fool, you unutterable ass! Wing him, yes. Stop him from smashing the machine, yes, but why did you have to shoot to kill?
It seemed the best way.
You've ruined everything now. Horn's dead, and so is Van Pelt. The machine is wrecked beyond repair. Sorry, Corporal, but I'm putting you under arrest. Give me that gun.
I'm afraid not. You're fundamentally a nice guy, so I'm just going to lock you in here long enough to get away, Lieutenant.
Lieutenant? Horn! You're Dr. Horn!
Just so, Lieutenant. Just so. Goodbye.
X-1 has brought you The Haunted Corpse, a story written by Frederick Pohl and adapted for radio by William Welch. Featured in our cast were Edgar Staley as Dr. Horn, Walter Black as the Colonel, and Dean Lyman Almquist as Van Pelt. Others in our cast were Lydia Bruce, Alan Collins, Bob Hastings, and Ralph Camargo. This is Fred Collins speaking. X-1 was directed by George Voutsas and is an NBC Radio Network production.
We pause now for station identification.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight, Double Dare. But first, hear this. How's the weather in your part of the country? How'd you like to spend an evening basking under warm tropic breezes in the sound of a gently rolling surf? Well, that's the setting in which you'll find yourself Friday night, as Monitor, broadcasting from spectacular Miami Beach, introduces you to the beauty and glamour of Florida and to the celebrities who make this resort area their winter headquarters. On Saturday and Sunday, Monitor will capture the spirit of Christmas season in music and song, as great choirs from all over the country and from foreign lands join in the singing of Yuletide carols. There'll be reports on Christmas preparations in Bethlehem, West Germany, and Antarctica. Alfred Hitchcock, Eartha Kitt, Henry Fonda, and Roberta Sherwood are among the celebrities who will be visiting Monitor this pre-Christmas holiday. So start your weekend right with Monitor on Friday night, and stay with Monitor all weekend long for celebrities, music, features, news, and sports over most of these same NBC radio stations. Now, X-1, and tonight's story, Double Dare.
Our ship sat down on the planet Domerang right on schedule. Kermidge and I stood at the viewport and watched the big Domerangi official cross the field to our landing ramp. He was dressed in a bright yellow tunic, green-gray buskins, and was wearing a glittering jeweled diadem. He was walking in that ponderous way those people always walk. And it seemed like a long time before he actually reached the ramp and climbed into the ship.
Welcome aboard. Greetings, gentlemen. I see you have come through the trip in fine shape. My name is Plovash. I'm your liaison while you are with us.
My name's Marner. Pleased to meet you.
And I'm Kemmeridge. Well, what happens now, Plovash?
You have landed at a space port just outside our capital. I have come to take you to your quarters. We are providing you the finest accommodations our planet can offer. We want your working conditions to be of the best.
Glad to hear it.
The actual test will begin as soon as you wish. May I offer you good luck?
Oh, we won't need it. It's not a matter of luck at all. It's brains. brains and sweat.
Very well. This is what you are here to prove. It ought to be amusing in any case, whatever the outcome may be.
The whole weird deal had begun back on Earth. And it started where most arguments like this start, in a bar. Cambridge and I are top engineers back home, and when this visiting Domarangi made a few cracks about our civilization being second-rate in technology, we made a few choice remarks about his own technology. Well, the thing got to the news agencies and created quite a stir. It finally led to a regular interplanetary controversy over who had the best technical brains, Earthman or Domarangi. So, here we were, Cambridge and I, sitting in an alien hotel room millions of miles from home, staring glumly at the walls.
Well, we're here, Miner. We're here. And we're going to show them up and go home rich and famous. You got that?
Oh, I hope we can show them.
Well, we've got to. Between the two of us, we can match anything they throw at us. Well, can't we?
Sure we can.
Just look at this door mechanism, for instance. A simple cybernetic mechanism.
Yeah. Ordinary gadget. Not nearly as efficient as our kind, either.
That's just the point. Apparently, these Domarangi aren't half the sharks they think they are. We said we could duplicate anything they showed us, right?
Yeah. And they've got two of their engineers on Earth trying the same stunt.
Okay, so if our boys stick them and we dope out everything they throw at us here, we've won. The State Department's counting on our versatility, Miner. That's all we need. Versatility, cleverness, and hard work. Yeah, we'll beat those silly-looking pants right off them.
Cambridge always did remind me of a football coach talking to his players at halftime. But at the moment, I was glad of it. I needed reassurance, and his own confidence was infectious. I cheered up, and by the next morning, we were ready to begin our part of the test. Plorvash came to see us again. Well, good morning, Plorvash.
Good morning, gentlemen. According to agreement, we have equipped our most modern laboratory for you. We will give you two preliminary problems. When you have dealt with them, if you can deal with them, we will give you a third problem.
And if we fail on any of them?
Why, then we shall have proved our point.
Fair enough. But suppose we deal with all three, Plorvash. How do we win this thing? Do we just go on with your projects until we miss?
Oh, no. According to the agreement between our governments, the test is limited to 3 problems only. The same is true for our team on your planet. We consider that if you do indeed complete all 3 projects, you will have demonstrated your ability.
I don't like the way you say that. What's up your sleeve?
Sleeve? I do not understand the idiom.
Never mind. Doesn't make any difference anyway. Just let's get started and prove our point.
Yes. I myself am most anxious to observe your attempts.
We return to X-1 and Double Dare in just a moment. Now back to X-1 and Double Dare.
The lab that was to be our workshop until we won or lost this contest was a sumptuous place. The sort of research setup a sane engineer never even bothers to dream about. We stood there admiring it, Cambridge and I, while Plorvash waited for one of us to say something.
Well, we're impressed.
Man, it won't be hard to pull off miracles in a lab like this. You're making it easy for us, Plorvash.
We are honest people. If you fail, it cannot be blamed on poor working conditions.
Okay. When do we start?
At once. Observe your first test.
What, that little plastic bottle?
The contents. It is a depilator. A bit rubbed on each cheek, and you do not need shave your beard for a week's time. Here is the bottle. Duplicate the product.
But we're engineers, not chemists.
Never mind, Miner, never mind. Okay, Plorvash, that's the first project. Give us the second at the same time. That way we'll each have one to work on.
2 projects at once? Very well, gentlemen, as you wish. The second is a trap for small house pests.
Oh, like our mouse trap, huh?
I do not know your mouse trap, but this is a most ingenious device. Our house pests are color sensitive, and this trap flashes colors as a lure. To catch vorks, we use this. For flames, we activate this device. And so on. Well, as you can see, it is most versatile. We have supplied you with an ample number of vermin of different sorts. They are in cages there at the rear of the laboratory. I believe you have everything else you need.
You mean this is all?
Duplicate these two products, if you can.
Okay. And we'll let you know the moment we finish.
Yes. Do that.
I didn't like the way he looked when he said that. There was a catch to all this somewhere, but I didn't have time to think about where it might be. Cambridge and I went to work on our project at once. It wasn't nearly as hard as it should have been. Within 4 days, we summoned Plorvash back to the lab.
Do you mean to say you have finished already?
Naturally. Stay where you are, Plorvash. I want to show you something. All right, Cambridge, activate the trap.
Check.
All right, stand back. I'm going to open the cages.
Oh, no, don't. Those vermin, they'll be everywhere.
Too late. Here they come.
Oh, but you're mad. But they'll be everywhere. Close that door.
Stand where you are and watch. You see? See that?
But this is impossible. All running to the same place.
Our traps. Look at that. They're in. Every last one of them.
Remarkable.
Yeah. We've improved on your model. We've built a better trap. Your model only deals with one species at a time. Ours handles every variety.
It really is rather surprising.
I suppose now you want to know about the Devolator.
That was easy, you know. With the equipment you gave us, chemical analysis is a snap. But I'm afraid we've improved on the original model here, too.
You have? In what way?
They're used at the proper strength. This depilatory of ours can last indefinitely. The effect seems to be permanent.
Indeed. This is a fairly impressive performance, gentlemen. You may be interested to know that your counterparts on Earth have also passed their first 2 tests successfully.
Oh, well, good for them. So, it all depends on the third test then, huh?
It does indeed. Shall we have that one now?
Why waste time? Is that it? That thing on rollers that you've got covered up back there?
Yes. Permit me to remove that cover.
A machine of some kind. I recognize a type of piston valve, relays, tubes, rods.
Let me plug it in for you. Here's the outlet. Now, I press the starting button. So.
What does it do?
Suppose you remove the plug from the outlet.
All right. There.
Hey, it's still going.
Gentlemen, this is our power source. We use it for transportation and similar things. Duplicate it. This is your third problem.
Well, we'll give it a try.
I shall be most interested in the result. Most interested. Good day.
Cheers. Well, Cambridge, the machine's still going.
Yeah, I see. I wonder, can we build a perpetual motion machine?
Well, it was a challenge, all right. A greater challenge than either of us had anticipated in our wildest dreams. Our heads reeled with the enormity of the ideas. But we worked and worked. I don't even know how long it was, but I think it was about 3 weeks. Finally, we summoned Plorvash, and he came into the laboratory to see our model and his side by side, both humming away with no plugs in the wall.
There it is.
You have actually done it?
Yes. It's been running a week now, and it shows no signs of slowing down.
It actually works, but how?
A complex hyperspace function. We're making a full report, of course. I hope you realize this is quite a stunt in gravology.
We didn't think we could do it until we had to, so we did.
I didn't think you could do it either. This little box on our model, have you examined it yet?
No, that nearly threw us. Apparently it's tightly sealed. We didn't waste time getting it open. We bypassed that. But what is the darn thing anyway?
That, gentlemen, is our power source.
Your what?
A photoelectric amplifier that should keep the model running for, another 2 weeks. Then...
Then what?
Don't you see? We do not have a perpetual motion machine. We have hoaxed you into inventing one for us.
What?
We didn't really think you could. It took our best minds to rig up a model convincing enough to fool you.
Well, I'll be...
That does it. That invalidates the whole agreement. Well, now that we're through, we'll take our machine and go back to Earth.
I am afraid that is not possible.
What?
By a statute in effect here for more than 700 years, any research done in a government lab is automatically the property of the Domarangi government. I am sorry, but I shall have to confiscate your project, gentlemen.
We'll see about that.
Furthermore, we are forced to confiscate you yourselves. We need you to instruct us on how to build these machines.
Sorvash, Earth won't let you pull a trick like that. This is cause for war.
I doubt it. Why should a terrible war come about for the custody of 2 men?
I demand to see our consul.
Of course. That is your right, I suppose. I will arrange it.
Well, there it was. Now that it was too late, I knew what the cause of my uneasy feeling was. The consul from Earth was a white-haired, sturdy gentleman with a ruddy face and a suave manner. He came to see us in our hotel room that same evening.
Now, please, rest assured we shall make every effort to extricate you. Do you realize what immense scientific prestige you've given to Earth?
Yeah, fat lot of good that does us now.
Well, authorities on Earth have kept me informed on the progress of the 2 Domarangi. They got through the first 2 projects as easily as you 2 did.
We already know that. What of it?
Well, now, this is the delicate part of the whole affair. I hate to put it into words, but in fact, the people on the Earth end of this deal had much the same idea as the Domarangi.
You mean another double cross? They put them to work on perpetual motion, too?
No, not quite. They rigged up a phony anti-gravity machine and told them to duplicate it.
Good night. What happened?
Nothing yet. I'm told they're working on it very hard. Sooner or later, if they're at all as clever as you 2, perhaps they'll hit on it. You'll just have to be patient and sweat it out until they do, and we can make an even exchange.
Well, of all the cockeyed situations, you mean we have to wait until they invent anti-gravity?
Now, that's the general idea. In the meanwhile, as I say, I will insist that you be shown every courtesy here on Domerang.
Well, they may never discover a workable anti-gravity. Then what happens to us?
Wait a minute.
Yeah?
Marner.
Yeah?
You know anything about tensor applications and gravitational fields?
What are you driving at?
I'm thinking of the ideal lab setup they gave us. Do you think those 2 Domarangi on Earth would mind taking credit for someone else's anti-gravity theory if they were approached properly?
Hey, that's right. They must be as anxious to get home as we are.
Say, what in the world are you talking about?
Consul, would you be above a bit of smuggling, diplomatic immunity and all that?
Well, now, I don't know.
We build the anti-gravity machine. You smuggle it to Earth and slip it to the Domarangi. Then use it as a talking point for a trade. Well, what do you say?
Well, I admit, it does seem the only way out. Very well, gentlemen, I'll do my very best. But there seems to be just one hitch.
What's that?
You still have to invent that anti-gravity machine.
Oh, we'll invent it all right, because you see, we have to. Come on, Cambridge. Let's get to work.
Fred Collins again. I'll have another word about X-1 in just a moment.
Is your head buzzing with a feverish, stuffed-up feeling of a cold? Here's how to get relief.
Every second someone takes it for the miseries of a cold.
Millions more take Bromo Quinine.
Every second someone takes it for the miseries of a cold.
Bromo Quinine.
More people have taken more bromoquinine cold tablets for more complete relief than any other cold tablet ever sold. Because bromoquinine is the only cold tablet sold with wonder-working quinine, nature's own miracle drug, and 5 other medicines, health-fortified with vitamin C. Science has never found a real substitute for quinine. It helps bromoquinine do more. Bromoquinine works to relieve stopped-up nose, body aches, fever, irregularity, blues, and headache, even of virus colds. Remember,
every second someone takes it for the miseries of a cold.
Millions more take bromoquinine.
Get bromoquinine brand cold tablets.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine. Galaxy Magazine's science editor, Willie Lay, discusses medical problems of space travel in the current issue of Galaxy. Read Willie Lay's article as well as the many thought-provoking stories similar to tonight's tale of fiction based on facts of the future. Galaxy Magazine, on your newsstand today. Tonight, X-1 has brought you Double Dare, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by Robert Silverberg and adapted for radio by William Welch. Featured in our cast were Ralph Camargo as Marner, Ivor Francis as Kembridge, Michael Ingram as Plorvash, and Harvey Hayes as the Consul. This is Fred Collins speaking.
The Gregory party is very near to their home port at last. Captain Bradford is standing in the bow of the small boat with which Johnson rescued them, talking to Johnson as they thread their way carefully through the small shipping of the outer basin. In the stern, Mrs. Gregory, Joan, and Jerry are talking as the boat glides into the harbor under sail. It is just before midnight of a very dark night. The harbor is unusually quiet as the small boat drifts easily before a 5-mile wind.
Oh, but Joan, I don't see how anything can happen to us now. Oh, we're nearly home.
We are some few miles from our anchorage, and then a drive by motor of more than 20 miles is there.
That's right, Joan. But surely the danger is past now.
I am not so sure of that.
Oh, forget it, Joan. You act like these Euclideans could do just as they please all over the world. We got away from them, didn't we?
We did.
Then all their smart science and inventions didn't do them so much good after all.
You seem to forget that it was in a Euclidean submarine we made our escape, and our present safety is due to the perfection of Euclidean devices, which made it possible to leave that submarine far below the surface and rise to this boat.
Of course you're right, Joan. Euclideans are very clever, but after all, they can't always win.
You bet they can't. And 2 hours from now, we'll be safe at Mrs. Gregory's home.
I am anxious to see your home, Mother.
Your home, Joan, dear.
Yeah, and I'd kind of like to see my dad. Gee, you know, we've been going 3 months now, and I haven't had a chance to even send him a postcard.
Well, I think you'll find that Johnson has kept your father informed of our doings, Jerry.
I sure hope Dad doesn't know all that's happened to us, or he'd be plenty worried.
There is something very strange to me in that sensation you describe as worry. Until you came to Euclidia, I had never heard the word used. Now I understand what it means, and I am beginning to learn how to worry.
Well, why bother to learn to worry? Gosh, most people do plenty of that without even trying to.
Joan is struggling to understand our way of living, Jerry.
I think I may like it after I'm familiar with it.
Oh, Mrs. Gregory.
Yes, Jerry?
May I take Joan out and show her Hollywood Boulevard right away?
Well, hardly tonight, Jerry. It'll be nearly morning by the time we arrive at home. And you must hurry to see your father first.
Oh, sure. I meant tomorrow night.
Well, we'll see how things work out.
What is Hollywood Boulevard, Mother?
That's where you see all the moving picture stars.
Moving picture stars?
Hollywood Boulevard, Joan, dear, is a street that wants a bit of knowing and sometimes a great deal of understanding. But you'll enjoy it as you see it with Jerry.
I want to see the ladies' garments in the stores you have told me of, Mother.
Now, there's a job for you, Jerry. Take Joan around while she window shops in all the stores.
Oh, no, nothing doing. I'm not going to waste a lot of my time standing around while some girl looks at a lot of funny hats and dresses.
Well, I'll spare you that.
What is window shopping?
Gee whiz, Joan. I don't see how you ever got to be 15 years old and not learn anything.
Now, Jerry, Joan knows a great many things. even though they do constitute a strange education for our world.
Strange is right. Hey, Johnson and Tex are coming back here.
Yes, and they appear to be watching something in the sky.
Probably that Euclidean plane.
Oh, that plane. I had forgotten it.
Oh, so had I. But it looks like we're going to get a swell chance to remember.
I'd say it was the same plane, but I want to ask Joan.
What is it, Captain?
Johnson and I just discovered that there's a plane flying around over us.
Too dark to see it, and they're not showing any lights. But I thought I heard them cruising around with a very quiet motor some time ago.
Oh, but those Euclidean planes don't sound the same as ours, do they, Joan?
In this case, they would.
In this case?
Oh, sure. You don't know these Euclideans like we do. They think nothing of carrying two kinds of engines in a plane.
How about that, Joan?
This plane is undoubtedly equipped with an ordinary motor, so they will excite no suspicion when heard cruising around over the harbor.
Well, I should think the fact that they're running without light would excite plenty of suspicion.
Yes, it will, but no one will know what to do about it.
Well, what do you suppose they're flying around over here for?
Well, I would say some attempt would be made to prevent our landing.
When these fellows make attempts, it's usually a pretty good try.
I think we are in no immediate danger.
Joan feels that the Euclideans are not going to do us any bodily harm. But we've seen so much of their power that it's rather hard to believe anything particularly nice about them.
Well, one thing is certain. With this harbor all full of battleships and a carrier in there with a lot of planes on it, they're certainly not going to resort to any firing or bomb dropping.
The Euclideans have many weapons that are practically noiseless.
Well, that plane isn't noiseless by a long shot. I can hear it coming back in right now.
They will attempt to frighten us, I believe.
Well, they won't have to try very hard for me. I scare easy when those Euclideans are around.
That plane is coming down awfully fast.
Yes, it's coming right over us.
Sounds like a power dive.
And I'll bet there'll be a bomb at the bottom of it.
Oh, what can we do?
Nothing. Just sit still and wait for what happens.
Well, they didn't hit us.
They didn't try to hit us.
They dropped something just as the plane passed over us, though. I'm sure of that.
Yes. I thought I heard something hit the water.
Have no fear. If they were using bombs, it would be only the magnetic type.
Got any metal on this boat, Johnson?
Not unless you brought it along with you. I even ripped out a small capstan to head forward.
Well, then we can keep moving. But if there's one little piece of metal on this boat, we'll stay right here.
Johnson, your anchor.
We have no anchor, Mrs. Gregory.
You are very thorough, Mr. Johnson.
It pays to be thorough in this sort of business.
Well, we seem to be going smoothly along, and nothing's happening.
Yep. But those fellows from the Magic Island fool you. Just when you think you've seen the whole show, they dig out one more trick.
Well, they must have dug one out then. Here they come back to try it out on us.
Sorry we haven't any protection on this little boat.
Oh, don't worry about that, Johnson. A battleship doesn't carry enough protection to save it from a Euclidean plane if they're attacking in earnest.
I would suggest we all sit perfectly still, make no move as the plane goes over, and concentrate on trying to discover their purpose in these repeated dives.
That's right, Joan. Now, everybody sit still with your eyes wide open.
Hey, it's raining.
Sure, feels like it.
The cooling system in that plane must be leaking. I felt a fine, heavy spray, slightly warm as they passed over us.
Well, I'd say that wasn't accidental. They managed to cover us pretty thoroughly with it. And my clothing feels wet all over.
Yeah, my sleeves are... Say, well, that's funny.
What, Jerry?
My sleeves were wet, soaking wet, and now they're dry.
Why, you're right, Jerry.
They have used a chemical of some kind with which to spray this boat.
Well, what for, Joan?
The reason is not apparent to me as yet.
It can't be anything very destructive. It didn't burn where it touched the skin.
And it doesn't seem to be affecting the fabric of our clothing.
If we could only smell the blame stuff, we might get an idea.
Euclideans are far too clever to allow an odor to identify any of their preparations.
Well, whatever this stuff is, I'll bet we find out a lot about it mighty quick. Look, that plane's coming back.
What can they do to us?
Anything they take a notion to, I guess.
I believe I understand the purpose of this liquid spray now.
Well, what is it, Joan?
I will not tell you.
Oh, but Joan...
No, Mother. If the effect will be as I think, you might do something foolish in attempting to escape from it, when our greatest safety lies in doing nothing.
Well, I hope you know best, Joan. Here he comes.
Well, whatever you thought it was, Joan, you're wrong. He didn't do a blame thing to us.
Have you tried to move your hands?
Move our hands? Why, say, what is this?
Magnetism again.
Tex, I'm absolutely powerless. I can't move at all.
They sprayed us with that magnetic paint of theirs.
Precisely.
And this last time he dropped magnetic bombs all around us.
We had plenty of this sort of treatment on that island.
Well, tell me, how lasting is the effect?
That will depend on how many bombs were dropped in the water near us and what materials the bomb casings are made of. You will observe that the boat is no longer making any progress.
Oh, you're right, Joan. We're standing still, except for a little drift with the tide.
And we'll stand here until the solution from those bombs becomes so diluted in the water that it won't hold us?
Correct, Captain.
Well, that won't take long, will it, Joan?
I believe the pilot of that plane may have arranged that it will take several hours.
Several hours? Why, Joan, dear, that magnetic solution can't possibly stand up in water that long.
You would be right, Mother, if the solution was all formed at once. But I imagine some of those bombs were made to float and dissolve at certain intervals, continually generating fresh magnetism on their contact with the salt water.
Then, if that's the case, we may be here all night?
At least we may be here long enough for the submarine we left magnetized to free itself and come up after us.
Well, you mean to tell me that all we can do is just sit around here like a bunch of statues and let this boat drift around with us?
That is all.
Well, now I'm beginning to understand something of what you've all been through on that island.
Oh, we sure had plenty of weird things happen to us.
Look, that plane seems to be on his way now.
Yes. I can't hear it anymore. He must be going back to Euclidia.
I think that is correct.
But how do they refuel those things?
They don't much. We've learned a lot of things, Johnson. One of them is that we don't know anything about fuel or how to use it.
We'll get our hands on all those formulas when we go back to the Magic Island.
I'm not at all sure I want to go back, Jerry. Sometimes I feel that Euclidia is a very fascinating place, and at other times I hate it. Just now, I'm not very kindly disposed toward G47 and his men.
Oh, yes, his men. How about this fellow Thales? What did you finally do to get rid of him, Johnson?
I've never seen him.
Never seen him?
No, Mrs. Gregory.
Then you were right, Tex. That radio was wrecked by remote control.
Johnson, did you find your set burned up or melted down?
Both. Some highly caustic chemical was suspended near every vital part of the set. When I used it to warn you, it simply flowed over everything and put the set out of business.
But you mean to say, Johnson, you have no idea where Thales is or what he looks like?
No, not the slightest.
I have seen him on Euclidia. I would recognize him if I saw him again, I believe.
I hope you get a chance to point him out to me.
Oh, Tex, look.
What, Pat?
Well, that boat. See that big shadow off the port bow?
Gee, it's a great big oil tanker.
And he's bearing right down on us.
We are helpless.
None of us can make a move. They'll never turn that big boat in time.
Can't blame them. We haven't any lights, and I painted the sails black so we wouldn't be seen.
Tex, he's going to run us down.
We'll sure get it in a minute.
And we can't swim with this magnetic paint
Worse
on us.
than that, we will sink immediately.
He's almost on top of us.
When the small boat carrying Johnson and the Gregory party was run down by an oil tanker, things looked bad for our friends. Covered with magnetic paint, which had been sprayed on them from a Euclidean plane, all were powerless to help themselves in any way, and the little boat was badly smashed, throwing them into the water. However, they were all prepared as to what to do. As the boat broke up, each member of the party managed to get some part of their bodies across or on a piece of the boat, and the tanker put about at once and picked them up. Jerry, Captain Bradford, and Johnson are in the ship's radio cabin, while we find Mrs. Gregory and Joan wrapped in dry blankets in the captain's cabin.
Well, Joan, my dear, it seems to be a little hard for your mother to land in her own country.
Our progress has been rather erratic, Mother, but I feel we have done well to accomplish so much against the opposition of G47 and his Euclideans.
I agree with you. Escape certainly wasn't easy, but at last we're home, or nearly so.
This oil boat we are now on, is it taking us into the harbor?
Yes, Joan. Tex explained to the captain that there were a number of reasons why we didn't want to send in for a water taxi or a harbor patrol boat to come out after us.
There are many things I cannot understand about your world and the great secrecy with which you surround the most commonplace things. But one thing I like very much.
And what is that, dear?
Everyone seems so kind, so willing to aid everyone else. Your personal comfort means a great deal. Here we are on a strange boat. We did not know the captain. He did not know us. And he was out of the harbor on the beginning of a long cruise. Yet he is returning us safely to the landing.
Why, of course, dear. His boat ran into us, didn't it?
Which was entirely our fault.
Well, granted, but common courtesy on the high seas would demand that he take us to a place of safety.
And the captain allows us to use his own cabin. We are given his warm blankets to keep us dry and comfortable.
You have lived in a hard, cruel atmosphere, Joan.
I did not know that until you came and told me of another manner of life. You are showing me many nice things, Mother.
And you are showing us some nice things, Joan. Just the everyday, commonplace things that we have so many of in our world, and which are really very precious privileges, for which we forget to appreciate. You're teaching me a new respect for the comforts in my world.
And Mr. Johnson, he is so obviously a gentleman, and yet he guards your interests as closely as if he were in your employ.
Well, Johnson is, in a sense, an employee, but he was Captain Bradford's first sergeant in the war, and he's been with me for 14 years. Johnson is almost one of my family.
Mother, what does rich mean?
Rich? Well, don't you know that simple word, Joan?
I know what it means to the scientists. They often speak of some mineral or metal being rich in certain properties. But I think there must be another meaning.
Well, what are you trying to figure out, dear?
Well, I am not sure. But Jerry once told me that you were a very rich woman. Does that mean you are rich in mineral properties or rich in food value?
Well, not exactly, Joan. In our world, we frequently refer to people who have a great deal of money and may enjoy most of the world's pleasures as rich or wealthy people.
Then you are rich, are you not, Mother?
Why, yes, Joan, I suppose I am, though I've never given it much thought. You see, money doesn't mean a great deal when you've always had it, but it means life itself to those who are not so fortunate.
I would not like to make you less rich, Mother. Yet I would enjoy seeing something of those large stores Jerry tells me of, and I would like some dresses such as you wear. Jerry tells me your garments are very expensive. Would your riches suffer badly if I were to have some dresses like yours?
Oh, well, of course not. You dear, silly little girl. You'll have lots of dresses and anything else you want when we get settled at home.
Jerry has a bicycle. He told me about it. May I have a bicycle?
Why, of course you may. Anything within reason.
What is a bicycle, Mother?
Oh, you'll see when the time comes.
When does the time come?
Joan, you act as if you were about 5 years old or even younger than that. But, of course, you can't understand all the things Jerry talks about, such as bicycles and picture stars.
I will be very ignorant in your world, Mother.
Why, Joan, dear, you won't be anything of the kind.
Oh, yes, I will. You were very ignorant when you came to the island.
Oh, well, Yes, I suppose we were, from your point of view.
Euclidia was no more strange to you than your world will be to me.
And we'll try to remember that, Joan, and be very patient with you in making all our explanations. Come in.
It is Jerry.
You bet it's Jerry. Jerry on the job.
Well, come in and close the door and tell us what Tex and Johnson are doing.
Oh, they're doing swell.
Well, are we nearly to the pier?
About 10 minutes now, and we'll step off on dry land.
Oh, Joan, we're almost home.
I will be very glad to see your home, our home.
Boy, I'll sure be glad to see mine, too. And Dad'll be some surprised to see me.
He must have been very lonesome without you, Jerry.
Oh, he'll get over that fast enough. When I start asking him a million questions why he's trying to work...
I should think your father would become very tired of you, Jerry.
You what?
Why, Joan, that's a strange thing to say to Jerry.
It sure is.
I mean that if Jerry speaks as much and says as little as he does when talking to me, it would not be deeply interesting to his father.
Well, I like that.
Oh, now, Jerry, remember that Joan hasn't learned what our family relationships mean to us, and she can't possibly realize that your father would be interested in every word you said, whether it was about this trip or one of your hobbies or anything else.
I do not know many of your customs, Mother.
Oh, you'll learn very fast, Joan. Now suppose we put aside our exchange of education for a few moments and talk about our present situation. Jerry, just what is the captain doing? Captain Bradford, I mean.
Oh, he and Johnson are with the skipper of this oil tanker. Boy, oh boy, and they're sure making that radio work overtime.
They are calling to stations on land?
Well, I'll say they are, calling everything that will answer.
But isn't that dangerous, Jerry?
Dangerous?
In what way, Joan, dear?
To the captain's plans. He wanted to preserve an air of absolute secrecy about our landing, and I agreed with him that it was advisable. Now Jerry says the news is being thrown open to all radio stations.
Hey, I didn't say that.
No, that's the impression you gave, Jerry.
Well, I didn't get a chance to finish what I started to say. Tex is sending plenty of messages, all right, and some of the land stations are getting them. But he's not telling them the right story.
You mean Tex isn't telling them we've been rescued?
Not by a long ways he isn't. He's telling them that we're on a tramp steamer, 300 miles out, and that we won't be in here for a couple of days yet.
That would be a very clever story if it were not for the fact that your land stations will be able to localize those messages and know exactly where they are coming from.
I don't believe we need to fear that, Joan. You see, there aren't a dozen stations in the country with equipment to do that, well, even possibly well. And Tex is staying away from those stations. You can be very, very sure of that.
I should think that would be advisable.
And that's just what he's doing. The only stations they're talking to and the only wavelengths they're using are a lot of hams the captain knows. They'll pass the story off just as they get it, and nobody be any wiser.
And if that story is generally circulated, we should have a good many hours of privacy before any of the Euclidean agents discover that we're in town.
That's an idea. And those hams will be excited over the story enough that they won't be worrying about where it came from.
What is a ham, Jerry?
Huh? A ham?
Yes, what do you mean by a ham?
Oh, a ham is an amateur radio operator. A fellow who has a radio station of his own and works it just because he likes to.
That is interesting. Are there many hams?
Oh, thousands of them.
Oh, yes. Jerry is a ham, aren't you?
You bet I am. You see, my dad and I have got one of the best sets in Southern California.
Come in.
Oh, come on in, Tex, and join the powwow.
I'll do that. It looks like a powwow at that, with you two all wrapped up in blankets.
Well, now, Captain Bradford, we're warm and dry and comfortable, and our Indian appearance isn't bothering us one little bit.
I say, as far as I'm concerned, you look fine.
Sure do to me. What'd you find out?
I think my story got over all right.
No one suspects we're landing from this boat?
Not a soul.
How will we go ashore without being observed, Captain?
Well, the captain's taking care of that. He's really got more supplies on board than he needs. And the men who helped load the stores, they'll remember that. So there won't be any suspicion aroused when the captain says he picked up some stuff by mistake. And as it looks like large cases in which most anything might be contained, he's just going to drop a few cases back on the pier. And we'll be in them.
You don't mean we'll be in the cases?
Right, and we won't get hurt.
That should not be difficult.
Well, I wasn't thinking of the difficulty of landing in those cases. But, Tex, what about the rescue? Well, surely someone in the harbor must have heard that crash and knows about this boat running us down.
Yeah. Say, I forgot about that. What are they going to say to the captain when he comes in without any survivors from that wreck?
And after all, Tex, the packing case thing isn't much of an excuse for turning an ocean-going tanker around when he's out in the open channel.
That's all taken care of. Johnson will be the survivor. In fact, the only survivor. And as Johnson went out alone on that boat, it's going to look perfectly all right for him to be rescued alone, isn't it?
Gee, that's smart.
Why, it certainly is. Johnson is a survivor, just as he should be.
That is a very clever plan, Captain Bradford. You are indeed the most resourceful man I have ever known.
Aha, flowers for you, Tex.
And thank you, Joan, but I can't take the credit for that. Johnson thought that one up.
You sure did a good job.
Now, Jerry, look, I want you to run along up and see what you can do to help Johnson, the skipper. I'll join you in a minute and give Pat and Joe a chance to dress.
Okay, Tex. I'll see what goes on. Hey, don't be long. You know, we're mighty near the pier.
Right, Jerry.
You'd better get out of here, too, Tex. If we're that near the pier, Joan and I had better be dressing.
Yes, I know that, but I want to get Jerry out of here long enough to tell you something I didn't want him to hear.
Oh, yes, Tex?
Is there any trouble, Captain?
No, Joan, just something to smooth out.
Oh, what is it, Tex?
Well, one of the amateur radio operators I talked to, and thank heavens it was after Jerry came back here, was Jerry's dad.
Jerry's father? Oh, how wonderful, Tex. Then he knows Jerry's safe.
Yes, on the contrary, he thinks Jerry's on the high seas, still in danger.
Oh, of course, your message. But what a shame to worry him like that.
Well, I didn't dare tell him the truth. Anyone could have heard it.
But that should be a simple matter. We will be in Los Angeles soon, will we not?
In about an hour.
Then Jerry's father will know he is safe in an hour.
Well, that won't be so bad, Tex. After waiting all this time.
Oh, I know that part of it, but I just wanted to ask you if you'd phone Jerry's dad as soon as we land and sort of break it to him gently. Might be quite a shock if he runs in on his father and, well, I can't do those things.
Don't worry, Tex. I'll break it gently.
Hey, hurry up. We're there right now.
Oh, Joan, Tex, we're home, safe and sound.
Kellogg's Pep, the super delicious cereal, presents The Adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from another planet, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman, defender of law and order, champion of equal rights, valiant, courageous fighter against the forces of hate and prejudice. Today, as the Man of Steel wings onward through darkened skies in hopes of catching a Pacific flyer, Carl Schroeder has plans that may again thwart his rescue of Lois Lane. We'll get the details in a moment, but right now, let's see what Dan McCullough has in store for us.
You know, gang, the news spread like wildfire last week when I began telling you about the brand new series of comic buttons Kellogg's Pep is putting out. One fellow tells another, and one girl tells her girlfriend, until everybody's all hepped up about collecting these colorful new buttons. It's a mighty swell idea, putting pictures of your funny sheet favorites on white enameled metal buttons so that you can wear them on your jacket or your dress or cap. And it's more fun than a three-ring circus swapping the buttons when you get duplicates. You see, in this new second series, there's Maggie and Jiggs and Andy Gump, Hans and Fritz, Olive Oil, Popeye, the Little King and Lord Plushbottom, Uncle Willie and Emmy from the Moon Mullins Funnies, and Rip Winkle and Pop Jenks and Superman, of course. 18 of your comic pals and all. Now, to be sure you get every one of them, start Mom off buying Kellogg's Pep for you tomorrow. That's the only way you can get these exclusive prizes, you know, in packages of that super delicious whole wheat flake cereal, Kellogg's Pep. You don't have to send in a single penny, not even a box top, and you can't buy them anywhere. Just look inside the Pep package, and there's your colorful, exciting comic button. There's a prize in every package of P.E.P. Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, made by Kellogg's of Battle Creek. Now, the adventures of Superman.
When we last saw Clark Kent, he had assumed the familiar costume of Superman, and, red cloak flying in the night wind, was speeding to the rescue of Lois Lane, an unwilling passenger on a streamlined express bound for San Francisco. Carl Schroeder, a dishonest dealer in art, and Manfred, his henchman, are watching Lois constantly. But even as Superman spans the miles like some giant fleet-winged bird, the suspicion that all is not right creeps into Schroeder's mind. As the train roars into the night, he and Manfred talk softly outside the door of Lois's dressing room. Listen.
I think it best not to take any chances, Manfred. That telegram Miss Lane tried to send had slipped through. The police would have been waiting for us in San Francisco with open arms the moment this train pulled in. And for all I know, that reporter Kent may have given the police orders to watch all trains. Then what do you suggest? The next stop is a place called Carson City. We'll arrive there in 10 minutes. We will get off with Miss Lane, hire or buy a car, and proceed the rest of the way by automobile.
Sounds like a good idea, Carl. A very good idea.
See that our bags are packed and ready to go. I will take care of Miss Lane. Work quickly. There's no time to waste.
Meanwhile, high above the dark countryside, a stalwart figure in red cape and blue costume leaps forward in curious flight, following the thin ribbons of steel that wind in and out of mountainous ravines and over towering crests. Faster and ever faster, mocking even the speed of sound.
I hope this isn't a wild goose chase. No, I'm certain it isn't. Lois never sent that wire ordering me back east. It was a fake.
I should be sighting that sheep soon. It's somewhere here in the mountains, this side of Carson City. I'm almost sure Lois is on it, and if she is, that means Schroeder is there, too. All I want with Schroeder is 60 seconds. Wait a minute, what was that? Sounded like a train whistle. Yes, it is. And I can see the train down below, about a mile beyond Carson City. I wonder whether that's the right train. I'll just drop down a little closer and take a look. Pacific Flyer, all right. The only train they could be on. Now to get aboard is Clark Kent. Down! Down!
You know, Manfred, I have a feeling we did a smart thing leaving that train at Carson City.
Very smart.
It won't help you, Schroeder. Nothing will help you. Sooner or later, men like you and that ape seated beside you get what's coming to them.
You must not lose control of your temper, Miss Lane. We have a long trip across the open plains, 300 miles. Conserve your energy.
Don't you worry about my energy.
But we do. You're very valuable to us at the moment.
Did anyone ever tell you, Schroeder, that you're not a human being? You're a beast.
Those are very unkind words, Miss Lane. Have I not treated you with the utmost courtesy?
Oh, of course you have. Telling everyone I was crazy.
That, unfortunately, was unavoidable. You will admit, if you were at all fair, that it was clever, no?
Not clever, Schroeder. Diabolical. You've got the mind of a devil.
You're very complimentary. I do not deserve it.
You deserve everything that's coming to you, and more, and you'll get it.
Perhaps. I think you'd better close that rear window, Miss Lane. The dust is blowing in.
You were warned about that. The man you bought the car from said there might be a dust storm.
You're not worried, are you?
Not the least bit.
Good. I admire women who have courage. It does seem to be blowing up. Keep your eyes open for road markers. We don't want to lose our way.
This is your little party, Schroeder. Keep your own eyes open.
Now, look, my name is Clark Kent, Porter. I'm a newspaper man with the Daily Planet, and all I'd like is some information about this young lady. She's a passenger aboard this
Sorry,
train.
sir, but we're not allowed to give out information about passengers.
But the young lady I'm inquiring about is a personal friend of mine.
It doesn't make any difference, sir.
Well, the Pullman conductor said you could help me.
He did?
Yes.
Well, then I guess it's all right.
Oh, good. Now, maybe you can tell me what I want to know. Was the young lady answering the description I gave you on board this train?
Yes, sir. She was the sick lady in drawing room A.
The what?
The sick lady.
Well, who told you she was sick?
The gentleman traveling with her. He said I wasn't to pay no attention if she'd come out with something queer.
Oh, this gentleman who was traveling with her, Porter, was he alone?
No, sir, there was another gentleman with him.
Where are they now?
They got off at Carson City.
With the young lady?
Yes, sir.
Got to go after them.
We don't make any stops till we get to Pine Valley. That's a good 2-hour run.
Oh, yes, I know. Well, thanks. Thanks a lot, Porter.
You're welcome.
Here.
Oh, thank you, sir.
And wait till we reach Pine Valley. Every second counts now. As it is, I may not be able to pick up their trail. Why didn't I overtake the train before it reached Carson City? Well, there's no sense crying over spilt milk. Got to get off the same way I got on. Through the observation platform. Yeah. Paying attention. Yeah, I guess it's safe. Nobody's watching me. Off with these clothes. There we are. You slipped through this time, Schroeder. But it won't be for long. There. Now, back to Carson City as Superman. Up, and away!
Leaving the train from the deserted observation platform, Superman, red cloak streaming in the wind, heads back to Carson City in the faint hope of again picking up Carl Schroeder's trail. We'll return in a moment to learn where Schroeder has gone. But first, here again is your announcer.
You know, gang, there's sure a mad rush for the Kellogg's Pep Package these days, because that's the only place you can get those brand new second series comic buttons all the gang's collecting. And are these new buttons swell? Full-color, true-to-life pictures of your favorite comic strip characters looking so real you'd think they were going to speak. There's Hans and Fritz and Andy Gump and Superman, of course. 18 different buttons in all. Oh, you'll have a mighty smart collection when you pin those new Pep comic buttons on your jacket or your dress or cap. Why, it even seems to make it more fun to follow the funny papers when you have buttons with the real characters on them. And it gives you lots to talk about when you meet up with your friends. Because, you'll want to compare notes on how many everybody's collected. And, the best part is you don't have to send in any money for these comic buttons, not even a box top. And you can't buy them anywhere. They come only as exclusive prizes in packages of that super delicious whole wheat flake cereal, Kellogg's Pep. So ask Mom to get you a good supply of Pep tomorrow. That's P-E-P, Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, made by Kellogg, the greatest name in cereals. Now, back to the adventures of Superman.
15 miles from Carson City, heading west in a car, Carl Schroeder, Lois Lane, and Manfred, Schroeder's henchmen, have run into a blinding dust storm. The road has become almost impassable, and the wind is howling like a million banshees.
Dust storm is getting pretty bad. How far back did we get off the road, Miss Lane?
I don't know. I told you this was your little party. Go ahead and run it.
I can't see with the dust blowing against the windshield. I have to go out and look around.
What can I do, Carl?
Nothing, Manfred. Stay where you are. I'll be right back.
Only a fool who thinks he's clever would have started out in the face of warning.
Nobody asked you.
Nobody had to ask.
Take my advice and keep your mouth shut.
I can't find the road. It's blinding.
Well, Mr. Smart Aleck, what's the next move?
Keep quiet, Miss Lane. I want no trouble with you.
What do we do? Sit here and let the dust bury us alive?
We keep going as long as we can across the plain.
Just listen to that man back in Carson City.
Come out. Why do we put up with her cow? Can't we get rid of her?
You wouldn't dare.
Who can tell?
Maybe it would be better if we turned back.
Back where? Lost all sense of direction. Nothing but dust, and more dust, and that wind howling.
But how much longer can we keep going this way? For all you know, we're moving in circles.
I told you to be quiet. It's worse by the minute.
What happened?
Car stalled. We're carrying too big a load.
What does that mean?
It means we cannot continue carrying so big a load.
Do as I suggested, Carl.
No.
I'm sorry, Miss Lane, but there's no other way.
No, you can't leave me here in the storm. I'll suffocate.
There's no choice. The car must be lightened.
I'm not very heavy.
It's not you alone. Manfred must remain behind, too.
Are you crazy, Carl?
With only one in the car, there may be a chance.
That's not human. Please don't leave us behind.
I helped you get the jade teeth, Carl. You'd never have them if not for me.
I know, Manfred, but there's no help for it.
That's what you think.
Don't pull your knife, Manfred. I have a gun.
If one of us lives, it'll be me.
Oh! You struck him on the head.
With my life or his. Carry him out. Leave him here with you. He'll be all right shortly. Now, step from the car, Miss Lane.
Oh, no, please.
Step from the car.
You beast.
Goodbye, Miss Lane, and good luck.
Wait, Schroeder, this is murder. Manfred's seriously hurt, and we'll never be able to survive this. Please.
It matters to me. I have the dragon's teeth, and I must get through with him. Nothing else matters.
Schroeder, please wait. Please listen to me.
I have no time to wait. Goodbye, Miss Lane.
Come back, Schroeder. Schroeder, come back, please. Schroeder, come back.
Deaf to Lois's pleas for his return, the murderous Schroeder drives off into the gathering darkness. As the panic-stricken girl reporter, her throat seared by the madly whirling dust particles, stands at the side of the unconscious Manfred, a lonely figure lost in a blinding windstorm. How can Superman pick up her trail and find her, a single small dot on the storm-swept prairie? We'll find out tomorrow, so be sure to listen. Tune in, same time, same station, for another thrilling episode in The Adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Fellows and girls, be sure to follow the adventures of Superman. Brought to you every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station, by the grand old Kellogg Company of Battle Creek. And for other thrilling adventures of Superman, see your local newspaper. Superman is also a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC publications. Say, gang, get a load of this. Kellogg's Variety is back. That's the famous variety carton of 6 swell Kellogg cereals in 10 separate packages. Makes breakfast more fun than a picnic. With Kellogg's Variety on the table, you can choose among Kellogg's Rice Krispies, Pep, Corn Flakes, Shredded Wheat Crumbles, and 40% Bran Flakes. Simply help yourself to your favorite. Each box holds a fresh, crisp, heaping portion. So ask Mom to get Kellogg's Variety right away. And be sure to be with us tomorrow for the thrilling adventures of Superman. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Super Delicious Cereal presents The Adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from another planet, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman, defender of law and order, champion of equal rights, valiant, courageous fighter against the forces of hate and prejudice. Today, as the Man of Steel still searches for Lois Lane, the girl reporter is all but lost to view in the path of a blinding dust storm. We'll learn what happens in a moment. But right now, let's join Dan McCullough and his pal Rusty as they share the comic section of today's news.
Say, Dan, you see bringing up Father today? Poor Jiggs, he's always getting it in the neck.
Yeah, and did you know that Jiggs' picture is on one of the new second series of comic buttons? You know, the new prizes and packages of Kellogg's Pep?
Hey, is that right?
Sure, Maggie, too, and Popeye, and the Little King, and Superman, of course. 18 of them in all.
Boy, you know, I've been so doggone excited about this new second series. When I got my first second series button this morning, Mom said she thought I'd pop.
Oh, boy, you're bound to get a kick out of these new comic buttons, Rusty, and you'll
Say,
find...
Dan, that gives me an idea for a new game.
Yeah?
Look, every kid has to act like he's the same character as on the button he's wearing. Well, for instance, I'm wearing this Popeye button, see?
Yeah?
So I'm a sailor who eats spinach.
Sure, and Cousin Doris could be Olive Oil when she's wearing that button, or Emmy White.
Yeah! Wouldn't that be swell fun? I'm going to get the whole gang busy on these new second series comic buttons so we can get going.
And you won't have a bit of trouble, Rusty, because all the fellows and girls are mighty excited about this brand new series. It's a doggone snappy looking. The pictures of favorite funny sheet characters done up in brilliant red and yellow and blue and black. Boy, they show up like anything when you wear them pinned on your jacket or dress or cap, and they're easy to get, too. You don't have to send in a single penny, not even a box stop. And you can't buy them anywhere. All you do is to ask Mom to get you a package or two of Kellogg's Pep. Then get your exciting prize from every package. Remember, that's P-E-P, Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, made by Kellogg's of Battle Creek. Now, the adventures of Superman.
Learning that Lois Lane had fallen into the hands of Carl Schroeder, a fascist agent, who forced her to accompany him and Manfred, his henchman, on a San Francisco-bound train, Superman rocketed westward to rescue the girl reporter. But the wily Schroeder, anticipating pursuit, left the train at Carson City and, accompanied by Lois and Manfred, continued his trip by car. Temporarily stymied, Superman doubled back in an attempt to pick up their trail. Meanwhile, Schroeder, running into a deadly dust storm, ordered Lois and south, believing that thus, made lighter, his car would take him through. When Manfred refused to leave, Schroeder struck him down and threw him out. As our story continues today, Schroeder, still in possession of the 10 precious dragon's teeth, has just driven off, leaving Lois and the unconscious Manfred to the mercy of the furious dust storm. Listen.
Schroeder! Come back! Come back! Don't leave us here! Do something. This dust is choking me. I've got to keep moving. I can't just lie down and die. And try to revive Manfred. I might have a better chance. There are 2 of us. Manfred. He's unconscious. Maybe if I could turn him over. No. He's too heavy. Oh, if only I had some water. He's gone. He's coming to. Manfred. Manfred, it's me. Lois Lane.
My head.
Get up, Manfred. Get up.
What happened? Where?
Schroeder. Knocked you out.
Yes, I remember now. Where is he?
Go off and get up before we're buried alive in this dust.
It'll blind us. Choke us.
He's got to get out of it.
No use. Nothing can save us. And it's your fault.
My fault?
Yes, your fault. If not for you, Schroeder and I, we'd have gone on by train.
But I didn't tell him to hire a car.
Your fault, I tell you, your fault.
You're wrong.
If not for you, this wouldn't have happened to me.
You're talking like that.
I'm going to make you pay for this.
No, not
I'm going to.
what a stupid blind fool you're being.
What do you mean?
Don't you see why I didn't save you while you were unconscious? Can't you understand that alone we'd both be lost? That together we have at least a fighting chance of finding our way out of this.
You think we have a chance?
There's always a chance while we're alive.
Maybe you're right.
Of course I am. Come on, let's start walking.
Walking? Where? Which way?
Straight ahead. Maybe we'll find some shelter. Anything that'll take us out of this blinding, choking storm.
Yes, shelter. That's what we need. Shelter.
Let's go. You lead and
Lowering their heads and pulling their collars up around their faces in an attempt to protect themselves from the blinding, stinging particles of dust, Lois and Manfred push off into the storm. Two lonely figures in the vast expanse of wind-torn prairie. Meanwhile, back at Carson City, Superman has resumed his disguise as Clark Kent and is trying to pick up Carl Schroeder's trail. We find him now in the railroad station where he is questioning a porter who claims to have seen two men with a girl answering Lois's lame description.
You say this young lady was carried off the train, Porter?
Yes, sir, that's right, sir. The gentleman with her, he said she was very sick, so we put her in a wheelchair.
Wheelchair? Was she unconscious?
Oh, no, sir, she wasn't unconscious. She started to kick up a bit, but the gentleman leaned over and said something in her ear, and that made her quiet down.
Oh, part of Schroeder's act.
Beg pardon, sir?
Oh, nothing. Tell me, did you hear her say anything?
No, sir, nothing but some mumbling that sounded like, well, sort of like she was gagged or something.
Must have been gagged. But, of course, you couldn't see that through the heavy black veil she was wearing.
That's right, sir.
Tell me, Porter, did you hear the men say anything that might give us some clue or a hint as to where they were going?
Well, let me see now. I did hear them say something about...
About what?
Something about a drive yourself. You know, sir, one of those places where you hire a car.
Hire a car?
Yes, sir, that's right. One gentleman, he told the other one to find a drive-yourself place where they could hire a car.
Oh, that's what they did. Of course. They hired a car and went on that way, figuring that would throw me off the trail.
Are they running away from something, sir?
You bet they are. They won't be running much longer. Thanks a lot, Porter. You were a great help. Here's something for your trouble.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
All right. No, Schroeder thought he threw me off the trail, eh? Well, he's in for a shock, and very soon. First, I got to check the automobile route to San Francisco. I guess a policeman's my best bet. Excuse me, officer. Could you tell me the best route out of Carson City for San Francisco?
You driving?
Yes.
Well, I could give you the route all right, but I wouldn't plan to go today if I were you.
Why not?
Because you got to drive across the prairie to pick up the main highway for the coast. There's an awful dust storm sweeping that prairie now.
There is?
Worse one ever. You notice the wind here?
Yes, but
Nothing to what goes on out there if one of them dust storms comes up.
Really?
Worth a man's life to get caught in it.
Bad as all that?
Yes, sir. Dust gets so thick you can't see your hand in front of your face. Yes, sir.
I've got him. Lois is right in it.
What's that?
Nothing, officer. Thanks very much.
Don't mention it. Better hold up until tomorrow. Might be over by then.
I guess I will. Yes, I will. Now with Lois out there. Into this alley. Better make time now. Superman. Off with these clothes. There's no telling what may have happened to them out there. I just hope I'm not too late. There we are. All set. Now, up, and away!
Like a blue and crimson arrow shot from a powerful bow, Superman streaks up into the storm-clouded sky. Then, veering sharply, he rockets toward the dark, dust-swept prairie, his red cape streaming in the angry wind. In just a join him again in his frantic search for Lois Lane. But first, here again is your announcer.
Say, your eyes will pop, gang, when you get one of these brand new second series comic buttons from a package of Kellogg's Pep. Because these new buttons are really snappy. Bright, true-to-life pictures of familiar comic strip characters like the Little King and Pop Jenks and Andy Gump and Superman, of course. Each one printed in brilliant colors on a white enameled metal button that you'll want to wear pinned on your jacket or dress or cap. Now, there are 18 different buttons in this new second series to collect and swap duplicates with your pals. So you better get busy. Start out by asking Mom to get you a package or two of that super delicious whole wheat flake cereal, Kellogg's Pep. That's the only way you can get these new comic buttons, you know. You don't send in any money, not even a box stomp, and you can't buy them anywhere. Just look inside the pet package for this grand exclusive prize. There's a comic button in every package of P.E.P. Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, made by Kellogg, the greatest name in cereals. Now, back to the adventures of Superman.
Fighting a blinding prairie dust storm with the wind howling at gale pitch, Superman wings across the darkened wasteland, determined to keep going at all costs until he finds Lois Lane, unaware that Carl Schroeder has cold-bloodedly left her to perish in the choking horror of the storm. Mile by mile, the Man of Steel battles his way through the blinding holocaust, his great muscles strained to their utmost, his X-ray vision piercing the thick, dark screen of whirling dust that blots out the earth from human sight, searching, ever searching for the car in which he hopes to find Lois. Suddenly he spots something on the ground, something black against the brown dust.
Wait a minute. What's that down there? Looks like it might be a car. Could it be Schroeder's? It isn't moving. Oh, of course not. It's turned over on its side. Down, down! Great Scott, that car's burnt to a crisp. Must have run over this embankment and caught fire. No one in it. Could all three of them have gotten out or been thrown clear? I'd better take... Wait a minute. What's in this metal box? Still hot. Oh, the jade dragon's teeth. All 10 of them fused together by the heat. That means Schroeder either jumped or was thrown out. Whatever happened, they can't be far from here. Uh-oh. There's someone lying over there, half covered with sand. Schroeder. And he's... No, he's not dead. But he's in pretty bad shape. Looks like a skull fracture. Concussion, too, probably. Well, there's no chance of his telling me what became of Lois and Manfred. It'll take a doctor to bring him out of this coma, if he comes out at all. And I'd better pick him up, put him in what's left of the car. At least he'll be sheltered from the worst of the storm until I find Lois. Right in there with you, my murderous friend. Now to have a look around for the others. Up! Up! There's no sign of either of them around here. Where could they have wandered to? Yes, and how can I even hope to find either of them? 2 tiny specks lost in this huge cloud of swirling dust. Away! Worried and now completely aware of Lois Lane's great danger, Superman continues what appears to be a hopeless search for 2 tiny specks lost in a huge cloud of swirling dust. Tomorrow brings the smashing climax of this story of the Dragon's Teeth and the beginning of the most baffling mystery ever to test the mettle of the Man of Steel. So don't miss it. Tune in, same time, same station, and follow the adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap close at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Fellows and girls, be sure to follow the adventures of Superman. Brought to you every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station, by the grand old Kellogg Company of Battle Creek. Superman is also a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC publications. Say, gang, you'll get a bang out of this. Kellogg's Variety is back. That's the grand 10-package assortment of 6 swell Kellogg cereals. Makes breakfast more fun than a picnic. Makes it easy for Mom, too. No dishes to wash, thanks to the new Kell Bowl Pack. You can eat right out of it. What's more, these generous packages are great for lunchboxes and outings. So ask Mom to hurry and get Kellogg's Variety at the grocer's her very first chance. And be sure to be with us tomorrow for the thrilling adventures of Superman. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
You, finding life rather dull, dreaming again of exotic places, wishing you were somewhere else? We offer you escape.
with us now to the outer limits of space and the terrifying experiences of four men who penetrated it, as Ray Bradbury, famous science fiction writer, tells it in his gripping story, The Earthmen.
Yes. Communication number 1. Mission accomplished. Yes. You better make sure you pause after that. Give them a few seconds to get over their excitement down there. They'll go crazy. Be bigger than New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve? Be bigger than the armistice. Only one celebration will top it in our lifetime. What's that? The one they throw when we get back. All right, now where was I? Mission accomplished. Yeah. First rocket expedition to Mars landed upon Mars 12:03 Earth time. Estimated position of landing, approximately longitude 345 degrees, latitude -7 degrees. Okay. Landed without incident at edge of forest. Atmosphere, what's a good word to say it's all right for breathing? Optimal? Yeah. Found atmosphere optimal. Descended from rocket.
Captain Williams.
Yeah?
Prescott, sir. I see Prescott. He's running this way.
Running? Something after him?
No, he's just loping along. I think he's smiling.
Keep your binoculars on him. Sound off. It looks like he's in trouble. Descended from rocket. Sent Lieutenant Prescott on reconnaissance mission. Dugan, Prescott all right?
Yes, sir. Want me to yell to him?
No, just stay up there and watch it. Morale high. Commend efficiency and discipline of entire crew. Lieutenants Prescott and Dugan, Sergeant Clitheroe. Thanks, Captain. There's enough glory for all, Sergeant. Any chance of sending that in now? Not for 2 hours. Channels won't be clear for voice communication until 3 o'clock Earth time. They don't even know yet we made it. I'd like to be down there when they get that message. What excitement. Sirens, bands playing, artillery salutes.
Here's Prescott, sir.
Good. Come on down, Dugan. Prescott, you all right?
People.
Here, sit down. Catch your breath.
People. Mars has people.
All right, now take your time. You want a drink?
Mars is inhabited. People, just like home.
Any women? Let him talk. What sort of people?
Ordinary-looking people. Men, women, kids.
Hostile?
I don't think so. I came down a road, a country road, followed it at right angle into a paved highway.
Yeah.
Before I could decide whether to go right or left, I heard a buzzing sort of sound. I ducked behind a bush. Vehicle rolled past. One wheel must have a gyroscopic balancer of some sort.
Yeah.
Inside was a man and a woman.
What'd they look like?
Just like us. Hair, eyes, nose, mouth, body, clothes, everything.
Mars inhabited. Wait till they hear that down there.
After it passed, I followed it. I came to a hill. And when I got to the top, there was a little town. Buildings, streets, just like home. And then I hurried back here.
People. And just like home, huh?
Yeah.
You suppose they're really friendly? Well, I don't see why not. You heard what he said. Civilization up here resembles the one down there. What would they do on Earth if Martians came down and established contact? It'd make a pretty big thing out of it. The people up here will probably treat us the same way. Even so, we're not going to take any chances. We'll be armed.
We're going into town?
Right. As soon as we camouflage the rocket. All right, start cutting some of those branches and gathering leaves. Cover it up good. I don't want anybody monkeying around while we're gone.
Right.
We can't be gone long, Captain. Channel's open at 3. We'll be back by then, if everything goes well. Oh, can you imagine their reaction when they see us? Come on, men, make it fast! All right, men, dress it up. I'm going to knock on the door now, and keep smiling to show we're friendly, and let me do all the talking. Understand? Yes. Yes, what do you want? You speak English. I speak what I speak. What do you want? Martian speaks English. We're from Earth. I'm Captain Williams, commander of the first expedition to Mars. And you are the first Martian we've met. Martian? What I mean to say is you live on the 4th planet from the sun, correct? Well, everybody knows that. Well, we're from Earth. Where? It's never been done before. What has it? How is it you speak such good English? I'm not speaking, I'm thinking. Telepathy. Now, what is it you want? We're from Earth. From Earth. Some other time, Mac. I got my own problems. How do you like that?
He doesn't look very bright.
I know, but...
Well, try it again. Knock on the door.
I'm in command here, Dugan. I'll do all the thinking.
Yes, sir.
I'll knock on the door and try it again.
Yes?
Oh, excuse me, ma'am. Was that your husband I was just talking to?
Yes.
He shut the door so quick I never got a chance to
Oh,
explain.
I'm sorry, but he is busy. Can I help you? Are you strangers in town?
I'll say we are. We're from Earth.
Earth?
The planet Earth. Maybe you have a different name for it. The third in order from the sun. We came in a rocket. Almost 60 million miles through
Don't come near
space.
me.
I just want if you can. You and your husband are the first people on this planet we've
Don't
seen.
come near me.
You don't understand. We're from Earth. We came in a rocket. We came in a rocket. What'd I do, Captain?
Don't you think we'd better get away from here, maybe?
Well, all I did was... How far is it to town, Prescott?
Quarter of a mile.
I just wanted to shake hands. What was it that scared her?
All right for us to smoke, Captain?
Sure, smoke, yell, unbutton your buttons, do whatever you want. Doesn't seem to make any difference. Nobody's paying any attention to us anyhow. You'd think these people had visitors from Earth every day. Nobody even turns around to look at us.
Can I say something, Captain?
Yeah?
We can't blame them for ignoring us, sir. We look just the same as they do. For all they know, we're just a few Martians ambling through the town square. We ought to take a chance and try telling someone else.
We've told 3 of them already. Back at that farmhouse, the man ignored us and the woman screamed and ran away. And that girl we told fainted.
Captain, looks like a bar or a soda fountain in here. Would it be all right if we went in and had something to drink?
Well, why not?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Could we get something to drink here?
We've got some nice fruit, Crystal. It's all right. The same for everyone.
Sorry.
I don't think I've ever seen you fellows around. You strangers?
We're from Earth.
Where?
Earth. Third planet from the sun.
Oh, plunger me. Earth, huh? Well, what do you know?
You mean you understand what I'm trying to tell you?
Sure. Sure.
That we're the first men from Earth ever to reach Mars, that it's never been done before?
That we came 60 million miles in a rocket?
Sure. 60 million, huh? Rocket, you say? Well, I'm proud to make your acquaintance.
I'm Captain Williams. This is Lieutenant Prescott, Sergeant Clitheroe, and Lieutenant Duke.
I'm honored. I'm honored. Do you mind if I bring my son in to meet you? This is an occasion.
Sure. Bring him in.
Son, come in here. Rocket, eh? All the way by rocket. Say now.
You understand what we went through, the chances we took.
Sure. Why, you're real heroes. Let me shake hands again.
You call me, Pop?
Son, these men are from Earth. From Earth. Understand?
Yes, Pop.
We're the first men from Earth ever to reach Mars.
Isn't that wonderful, son? Think of it.
It's wonderful.
Go tell everyone. You don't mind if he tells people, do you?
Mine. I should say not.
Oh, we'd like him to.
As many as possible.
Go ahead, son. Hurry. Think of it, all the way from Earth.
There were times in there when I didn't think we'd make it, I can tell you.
Hey, I'll bet there were.
Turbine conked out when we hit the stratosphere. I began to sweat a big drop.
I can imagine. Turbine, it's pretty serious.
Well, even before we left, we were told we only had about 1 chance in 3 of making it.
Hey, I don't see where you found the courage.
We didn't even know what we'd find when we got here.
You see, it's never been done before. Never.
Let me shake your hand again.
Lots of men were killed trying, but they never succeeded.
What am I? What an honor for our little town.
You're the first to know, really. The very first.
Oh?
Your name will go down in history of all the school books with ours.
There are monuments on both planets.
Hey, what is your name?
Hey, wait a minute, man. Hold on. What's up, Skipper? Outside. All those people. Looks like the whole town.
Why, they must have heard the news, the glorious news from my son. Yes, they've come to welcome you.
Hey, hold your fire, men.
Welcome us. It doesn't sound like they'd come to welcome us.
What? That's the man we first spoke to, the one whose wife got scared.
Gentlemen, please don't shoot. There must be some mistake. I'll just ask them why they're behaving in such a...
Here, come back here. Come back here, you old... Come back here.
What do you make of that, Captain? I don't understand this, and I don't like it. Do the back way out. See if it's clear.
Let's start you fire when I say fire, not before. Lower your gun. They're all around us, Captain.
We'll make a break for it. One volley at my command.
Captain Williams.
Yeah?
Look, there's a little guy out there giving them all what for. They're starting to disperse.
Let me see.
Clear this square immediately. Immediately, I say. Go on now. Go on, all of you. Go on home.
He's coming in.
Now, I'll do all the talking. Put your guns away, but stay on your toes. Dugan, let's keep our eye on the back, huh?
Gentlemen, may I apologize for the unforgivable actions of my fellow townspeople. They've acted barbarously. Barbarously.
We didn't do a thing. We were as friendly as we could be.
Well, they're ignorant, just ignorant. No reverence for science, none whatever.
We're from Earth. Did they tell you?
Oh, yes. A great honor, sir. This is without a doubt the most memorable moment of my life. As a man of science, I greet you.
What have we done to make them so hostile?
Oh, no, please, put it out of your thoughts. They're dolts, idiots. Simply because two women were stupid enough to be frightened. My apologies, my sincere apologies. Believe me, sir, I would never have forgiven them if they had harmed so much as a hair of your head. A scientific marvel, and they would do you harm. Unforgivable. Well, we're wasting time. The members of the Institute are waiting.
Institute?
The Institute of Science. We have sole jurisdiction in such matters. The members have already been informed and are eagerly awaiting your appearance. It would cause a sensation.
Well, that's a little more like it.
This way, if you please. I have transportation waiting. And have no fear of these rustics. You're in my care now.
I'm Captain Williams, sir. Who are you?
I'm president of the Institute. My name is Dr. Booth. This way, gentlemen. This way.
Escape under the direction of Norman MacDonald returns in just a moment. How the gambling machine works, the far-reaching effect of legal and illegal gambling, domination of entire areas by racketeers. That's this week's topic on The Nation's Nightmare, tomorrow night on CBS. And now, back to Escape.
I won't make a speech, you understand, just a few informal remarks.
The members of the Institute will listen to you with the greatest interest, no matter how informal your remarks. Go right in and make yourself at home.
Thank you, Doctor. I'll keep it short. We have to be back at our rocket by 3 o'clock our time in order to...
To communicate with Earth, yes. You told me, yes. Go right in. I'll join you very soon.
Thank you. After you, men.
He's a nice fellow.
Wow. What an auditorium.
Hey, must be hundreds of people here. I wonder how they managed to get them together at such short notice.
Straighten up, men. They're looking at us. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I am Mr. Earl.
And I'm Captain Jonathan Williams of New York City, on Earth. Thank you, one and all, on behalf of myself and my crew. Thank you.
Well, it's good to see another man from Earth. I am from Earth also.
How was that again?
There are many of us here from Earth.
You? From Earth?
Yes.
But is that possible? Did you come by rocket? Has space travel been going on for centuries? What country are you from?
Tuirio. I came by the spirit of my body years ago.
Tuirio? I never heard of it. What was that about the spirit of your body?
Well, what do you mean there are many of us here from Earth?
Not only from Earth. He's from Jupiter. He's from Saturn.
Jupiter? Saturn? Wait a minute, this is confusing. Where on Earth is this Tuirio?
Tuirio?
Is it near America?
America? What is America?
You never heard of America?
No.
You say you're from Earth, and you never heard of America.
Earth is a place of seas and nothing but seas. There is no land. I am from Earth, and I know.
Earth is a place of all jungle. I am from Orion Earth, a civilization built of silver.
Silver? Men, come over here a second. Do you realize what this is?
What, sir?
This is no celebration. These aren't members of the Institute. This isn't a banquet or a surprise party. Huh? Look at their eyes. Listen to them. Now I understand why the woman screamed, why the girl fainted, why the old boy in the soda fountain ran out on us, why the crowd was hostile, why they brought us here.
Oh, where are we, sir?
In an insane asylum. They think we're crazy.
Clitheroe, try the door again.
I just tried it, Captain. It's still locked.
Go right in, gentlemen. The members of the Institute will listen to you with the greatest interest, no matter how informal your remarks. I'll bet they've been listening, all right. I'll bet they've had us under observation ever since we entered this building.
Captain,
look.
What?
You ought to take a look. That woman who said she was from Earth, too. A blue flame is coming out of her mouth and then turning into the shape of a small naked child. You think that's something? I've been watching one of them change into a crystal pillar and then into a golden statue and then into a staff of cedar and then back into a woman again. Never saw anything like that. Magicians.
No, not magicians. Those are hallucinations. They pass their insanity over into us, and we see their hallucinations, too. Telepathy, autosuggestion, and telepathy.
Well, look, Captain.
If hallucinations can appear this real to us, to anyone, if hallucinations are catching and almost believable, it's no wonder they took us for psychotics. If that woman can produce little blue fire children and that one can change into a pillar, how natural if normal Martians think we can produce our rocket ship with our minds.
I've been thinking along those lines, too. If someone came up to you on Earth and said he was from Mars, just came in by rocket, wouldn't you think he was crazy?
I would. Heaven help me, I would. What time is it?
2:35. Those channels open in 25 minutes.
Where's that doctor? Where's that doctor? I said, where's that doctor?
I'm here, Captain.
I demand our release. I demand an apology for this outrage. My government will certainly hear of this. All the governments of Earth will hear of it. I shall tell them of the indignities heaped upon their representatives.
Yes, of course.
Don't humor me! Are you going to release us, or must I take steps?
What sort of steps?
I'll kill you.
That's very interesting. Excuse me a moment. Dr. O.
Yes, Doctor. Did you call me, Doctor?
The case is developing along classic lines. I thought you might be interested. He's just threatened to kill me. Proceed, please, Captain.
I wasn't joking, I tell you. Are you going to stand aside?
No.
All right. Jan.
Most interesting. What do you suppose the next phase will be?
Denial of insanity. Reaffirmation of sanity.
But we are sane. We are.
You see? Classic.
Men try to think of something. He thinks we're insane, and he won't understand that we're not.
No, not at all. I do not think all of you are insane. Oh, no. Just you, sir. The others, the ones you persist in referring to as your crew, they do not exist. They are secondary hallucinations.
Secondary?
Hallucinations.
But you can touch them. You can hear them. Go ahead and touch them.
They will prove nothing. My patients have come to me with snakes crawling from their ears. When I cured them, their snakes vanished.
We'll be glad to be cured. Go ahead.
It's unusual. Not many want to be cured. The cure is drastic, you know.
Cure ahead. I'm confident you'll find we're all safe.
He persists in referring to the others.
Oh, they never stop. You know, Captain, such cases as yours need special treatment. The others in this hall are simpler forms, but once a patient has deteriorated as much as you have with primary, secondary, tertiary, auditory, olfactory, and lingual delusions, as well as tactile and optical fantasies, it's a pretty bad business. We may have to resort to euthanasia.
Euthanasia? You're crazy! Now, listen. My crew and I left Earth 3 days ago in a rocket. We landed here in Mars.
Yes, you've already told me, Captain. Most detailed dream fantasy I've ever heard.
But I can show you the rocket ship.
I'd like to see it. Can you manifest it in this hall?
No, certainly. It's over there in the corner.
I don't see it.
Of course you don't. It's not there.
Why did you tell me to look if the rocket isn't there?
I was joking, you idiot. Joking.
Really? You have an odd sense of humor.
If you give us transportation and come with us, I can show you the rocket. It's in a small forest near that town where we first saw you.
It'd be rather interesting to observe his reaction at the failure to show it to us.
Yes. Would you care to accompany me, Dr. Owen?
Oh, I'd be delighted.
Very well, Captain. Lead us to your rocket.
Here it is. Here's the rocket. Now are you satisfied? Now are you convinced?
I see nothing resembling a rocket.
Nugent, Prescott, Clitheroe, clear away the camouflage. Hurry! You'll see, Doctor. You'll see. All right, there. There. Okay, men, that's enough. There you are, Doctor. That's the main hatch. Now, are you convinced?
Wonderful manifestation. Wonderful. But like the manifestation of your gun when you threatened to kill me, completely unreal and non-functional.
I've been thinking about why your gun jammed, Captain. I think it's a change in atmosphere. I suppose he allows his hallucinatory companion to offer the rational because the reality is too painful for him to offer it himself.
Yes, precisely, Doctor.
It's a rocket. It's a real rocket. See? I can touch it.
May we look inside?
I insist that you look inside.
Come along, Dr. Lowe. This is one of the most...
Captain, it's 3 minutes to 3. If we can keep them here until they open the channels, they'll be able to hear the reaction to our report on Earth, and then we'll be able to...
I know. What a suspicious bunch of louts.
2 cents, I'd tell the people back home not to bother with Mars.
I've never seen anything like it.
No, and now do you believe?
Why, this is the most incredible example of sensual hallucination and hypnotic suggestion I've ever encountered. We went through your rocket, as you call it. I tapped it, and I heard it. Auditory fantasy. I smelled it. Olfactory hallucination induced by sensual telepathy. I could even taste it. Lingual fantasy. Allow me to shake your hand, sir, and congratulate you. You are a psychotic genius. You have done the most complete job by the task of projecting your psychotic image life into the mind of another via telepathy and keeping the hallucinations from becoming sensually weaker is almost impossible. Those people in the house usually concentrate on visuals or, at the most, visual and auditory fantasies combined.
But you, Captain, have balanced the whole conglomeration. Your insanity is beautifully complete.
My insanity?
Yes. What a lovely insanity. Metal, rubber, foods, clothing, fuel, nuts, bolts, 10,000 separate items we've checked on your vessels. Never have we seen such complexity.
Why, there were even shadows under the bunks and under everything.
Such a concentration of will. Let me embrace you, sir. I'll write this into my greatest monograph. I'll speak of it at the Martian Institute next month.
Doctor, he's incurable, of course.
Of course. You poor, wonderful man. You'll be much happier dead. Well, have you any last word?
Wait, no, don't shoot.
Oh, you poor, sad creature. I'm afraid you are far beyond any psychiatric therapy. You're an incurable case.
No.
I shall put you out of this misery which has driven you to imagine this rocket and these three men.
I did not.
It will be most engrossing to watch your three friends and your rocket vanish once I've killed you.
Doctor.
And then I will write a paper on the dissolution of neurotic images from what I observed here today.
I'm from Earth. My name is Jonathan Williams, and these men are...
Yes, I know. From Earth.
Honest. Captain Williams. They continue to exist.
Superb. Hallucinations with time and spatial existence. I wonder how they will react to a bullet.
What? Oh, no. Put on that shot.
No. An auditory appeal, even with the patient dead.
They still exist. And so does the rocket.
Phenomenal. Such persistence of the psychosis. First time I've ever observed it post-mortem. But it will fade. It will all fade. Interesting, wasn't it? Well, shall we be returning to the Institute?
I should like you to explain certain aspects of the case to the members of my department.
Oh, gladly, my boy, gladly. You see, this patient...
Earth to Mars. Earth to Mars. Calling rocket expedition. Calling rocket expedition. Do you read me? Do you read me? Come in, Captain Williams. Come in, Captain Williams. Earth to Mars. Earth to Mars.
Under the direction of Norman MacDonald, Escape has brought you The Earthman by Ray Bradbury, especially adapted for Escape by Walter Newman, starring Parley Bear with Harry Bartell, Hans Conried, Larry Dobkin, and Lou Krugman. Featured in the cast were John Daner, Sidney Miller, Georgia Ellis, Jack Crucian, and Byron Kane. The special music for Escape is composed and conducted by Leith Stevens.
Escape with us to an island off the northwest coast of Africa, and the story of a man whose quest for happiness was blocked by a giant, a madman, and a beautiful girl, as Millard Kaufman tells it in his exciting story, The Gladiator.
There's all fun each and every weekday when most of these same stations bring you CBS Radio's Arthur Godfrey Time. This is Roy Rowan speaking. This is CBS, where you hear the FBI in Peace and War every Thursday night, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
You, finding life rather dull, dreaming again of exotic places, wishing you were somewhere else. We all escape.
Escape us now to an island off the northwest coast of Africa, and the story of a man whose quest for happiness was blocked by a giant, a madman, and a beautiful girl, as Willard Crofton tells it in his exciting story, The Gladiator.
And now Scarletti follows his advantage with a right cross on the McNabb's heart. Then a left to the chin, and a right. And another right. Oh, a wizard of a smash to McNabb's jaw, and the pride of Scotland is down. He's down. The referee motions Scarletti to a neutral corner and begins counting.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I stood there in a neutral corner, not realizing it was over. This was it, Joe. I had to tell myself this was it. After 12 years in the scrambled brains business, 12 years of living like a monk and dying before each fight, this was it. And then I saw her. Dark she was, and pliantly slender. The most beautiful girl I'd ever seen. She sat there among the ringside bloodsuckers with the arc lights on her white face. As calm and curious as a queen. Even a cold shower couldn't get her out of my mind. I don't know why. Her hair was the color of night, and she wore a diamond in it, like a star, when only one is shining in the sky. And now I'd never see her again.
Joe!
If I had any guts at all, I'd have gone to her as I left the ring. I'd have said, "You're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen." I'd have said, "What's your name? What are you doing here?"
Joe!
Huh? Oh, yeah, Pony.
You can climb out of the shower now. Newspaper guys have gone.
You got rid of him real fast, huh?
It was a snap. Nobody's interested in a retired heavyweight champion. Not even on his first night of retirement.
Well, that's the way I want it. For the rest of my life.
Hey, here's your rub, Joe.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, they'll paid the sports writers. They thought you'd stick around London for a while instead of turning off to Rome.
Yeah, we got the plane ticket?
Yeah, and an hour to make the plane, so please don't...
Good evening, gentlemen. May a stranger congratulate you on your splendid victory.
Thanks, Bud, but now if you...
My name is Verini. Julius Verini.
Oh, it's nice knowing you. But we're sort of in a hurry.
May I introduce my niece? Come in, my dear. Patricia.
Hello?
Hello.
I thought I'd never see you again.
Where did you see me before?
In the ring. I mean, when I was in the ring. I thought you were the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen.
Hey, Joe, we better get going. We're misconnected.
Mr. Scarletti, I wonder if you and your manager would consent to be my guest on your trip to Rome. I assure you no public conveyance could be as pleasant as the one I offer. Patricia?
Well, there are certain compensations about exterior.
Thanks a lot, but we couldn't impose on you.
But I insist, my dear sir. Mr. Scarletti, you see, I am a student of the boxing. I should enjoy talking with you. I should be honored playing host to the greatest of all champions.
I'm sorry, Mr. Bernice, but...
Please.
Mr. Vernius, we'd be delighted to go.
Yeah, but Joe...
Your niece won't mind.
I would love having you.
Splendid. I'll have your baggage picked up at the airport. I can't tell you what a pleasure it will be for my niece and me.
The pleasure is all mine.
But I just do not understand. You had success. You were famous, and you gave it up. I would never have given it up.
You know, I like the way you dress. You fit into it nice.
You sound like a kid on his first date.
Well, in the way I am. See, I've never been this close to a
nice girl before.
I'm not so nice, Joe. And you're not so close.
Well, I can get closer.
No, Joe.
Yeah, 3 days on the water, 3 nights under the
You
stars.
sound absolutely lyrical. Like number 1 on the hit parade.
And it's still no Joe.
Don't rush me. You have plenty of time.
Yeah, plenty of time to make up for all.
You're like a spring all wound up.
I've been wound up for 12 years.
Well, wind down. Talk a little. Talk it out.
Talk, that's kid stuff.
Oh, you don't know anything about kids. I don't believe you ever were a kid.
No, I guess I wasn't. The night of my 17th birthday, I had my 17th fight. It's some coincidence.
Why cry about it? You're still young.
Yeah, I'm 29. Days are going fast, and what have I got to show for them?
Oh, nothing. Nothing except the satisfaction and the wealth and the fame of being the greatest fighter in the world.
And that world was pretty narrow. A ring 20 feet square surrounded by rope.
You're the first man since Fitzsimmons to hold the light heavyweight and the heavyweight championship at the same time.
Hey, how do you know so much about fighting?
Oh, I don't. I'm just quoting.
Speak for yourself. Tell me about yourself. Or is that kid stuff, too?
No, but there's nothing to tell.
Oh, there must be. I mean, who are you? Do you live in Rome or Paris or neither or both? How does it feel to be rich when you don't have to fight for it?
Well, you say I would rather talk about you.
Lucretia. Why are you so upset?
I'm not upset. It's
Hey,
just...
Joe.
Joe, I gotta see.
Hey, where are your manners, Pony? You're interrupting.
Oh, that's all right. Joe, I'll see you later.
Lucretia,
Joe, something fishy about this whole ranch.
What?
Listen to me, Joe. It's about this joke of Verinius.
Oh, what about it?
He's a stranger. He talks all the time about fighters like most guys talk about things.
Can't stop him from talking.
And he looks at you like a crazy. Like a butcher fixing to carve up a prize bull.
Can't stop him from looking either.
All right. Well, remember in the dressing room 3 nights back? When you said we'd go with him? And he said he'd pick up our gear at the airport?
So?
So how did he know our gear was at the airport? How did he know we was going to Rome?
You told the sports writers. Maybe you read it somewhere.
I told him a couple of minutes before Verinius popped up. But that's not all. Joe, get your mind off that thing and listen.
All right, I'm listening.
Well, I've been trying to brush him off it. And on a little boat like this, it ain't easy, even in his fog. 10 minutes ago, he almost cornered me, so I took off. Up that stairway.
A ladder. Aboard ship, you call it a ladder.
All right, so I go off, like the 2nd floor.
Now, the bridge.
Will you stop interrupting? I mosey around, and I happen to notice that big map.
That's a chart. They mark our course on it, day by day.
That's it. Well, I almost fall down. Joey, we ain't going to Rome.
What?
To go to Rome, we should have turned left at the Rock of Gibraltar. That's how you get to what you call the Mediterranean Sea.
And we didn't?
We kept going south. Right now, we're somewhere off Africa. What do we do, Joe?
We better talk to Verinius.
Hey, you might as well start talking. Here he comes.
Ah, there you are. I've been looking for you.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
Verinius, Please, call me Julius. You are enjoying it. You are comfortable.
Well, a matter of fact, it's...
Splendid. You look marvelous, Joe. You've never looked better. Oh? What makes you so sure? You never saw me till 3 days ago. Ah, that's where you are wrong. I've known you a long time, Joe. Since the night you defeated Jackie Slade at the Polo Grounds in your native New York. What? That was 10 years ago. 10 years, 5.5 months. When you walked in the ring that night, you were just another preliminary boy. When you walked out, I knew you would be champion. Of all the bouts I have ever seen, that is the one I most enjoy remembering. Well, that's the fight I'd like most to forget. When you hit Slade in the 2nd round. A magnificent punch. He was in the hospital 3 weeks. He almost died. I wanted to give up fighting for good. But why? Because I don't like hurting people. I don't like to kill. You don't like hurting? Well, that is very funny. Here's something funnier than that. Why aren't we going to Rome? I hate noise. But I suppose the klaxon is necessary in the fog. Come on, quit stalling, Verinius. My dear Joe, I never stall. I certainly wouldn't try to now, when you're obviously so sure of what you're talking about. Where are we going? home. Home, with me. Accuse me of selfishness, if you like. But I so much enjoy playing host to you that I thought I'd prolong the pleasure. Perhaps I should have consulted you about it, but you would not have accepted. Would you?
I would not.
You see? But, of course, we cannot turn back now.
Why not?
Because I have this gun. And it is loaded. And as I know very little about firearms, it might go off and hurt you. I would not want that to happen, Joe. It would interfere with my plans.
Oh? What plans are those?
Something I've thought about for 10 years, since the night of the Polo Grounds. I'll tell you all about it sometime soon. But now, if you'll head down that passageway, you'll find a small but comfortable brig ready to receive you. Let's go.
Escape, under the direction of Norman McDonald, returns in just a moment. Looking for a bookie? Investigators are. Police are, too. But some police are not looking for the bookies that are a major part of organized crime in America. CBS Radio, as the third in its important documentary series, The Nation's Nightmare, uncovers fascinating facts about the bookie business. Hear from police, criminals, victims, in their own voices, under authentic conditions. Hear CBS Radio's The Nation's Nightmare on most of these same stations tomorrow night. And now, back to Escape.
Some pleasure cruise this turns out to be. And all because you fall for a dame with slow gin eyes and a diamond in her hair. Some fast shuffle you got from her Uncle Julius. So, what are you going to do about it?
You're my manager, you tell me.
I'll tell you this much. We got to do something, even if it's wrong.
What can we do? Uncle Julius has got 4 aces and a gun. I got 4 walls and I got bars on the door.
I'll tell you what I got. I got a mad on that dame worse than I got on her Uncle Julius. If I ever lay hands on either of them,
Let's walk.
What's that?
Let's walk.
Well, if it ain't the dame with the slow gin eyes.
Yeah. Berenius must have flipped to lock up his ever-loving niece. Now listen, baby, you better give it to us straight. What's this all about?
I don't know. I saw him pull that gun on you, so I go to him. I say, what kind of business is this? I say, this is not my deal.
What deal?
Likely story.
I swear. Practical jokes are okay, I told him, but not with a gun. He tossed me and he will do.
That's what you get for talking back to your Uncle Julius.
He's not my Uncle Julius.
He must have disowned her.
I never saw him till a week ago. He comes in this club in Paris where I'm singing. He offered me 20,000 francs to go to London with him. Just for the weekend, he said. To play a practical joke on 2 friends.
Well, if we're the friends, I wonder how he treats his enemies.
I'm afraid we're going to find out.
Well, let's find out now.
But how?
Boney, get that tin basin over there.
Basin?
Yeah, get it. All right, Lucretia, take off the shoe.
Shoe?
Yeah, do what I say. Now, when I start rattling the door, you start banging away at the bulkhead.
Oh, I get you.
All right, you ready? Okay, let's go.
All right. All right. All right.
Now, what do you want?
We want you should tell us a story.
Where are we going? And why?
You're asking for the story of my life.
Then tell it. Come on in, tell it.
No, thank you. I'll tell it on this side of the bar. Does the name of Berenius mean anything to you?
Nothing.
Once I knew a lightly called Speedy Berenius. He was a bum, too.
Berenius, you were a constant loser. But the greatest loser of all, Publius Berenius. He was commander-in-chief of the Roman Imperial Army 2,000 years ago. He was sent to put down the revolt of Spartacus the Gladiator. He was bad.
That's tough.
Oh. Publius returned to Rome in disgrace. He was ostracized, consigned to a tiny island at the farthest rim of the Roman Empire. That's where he went with his wife and his slaves and his gold. That's where he lived. And so did his son. And their son. That's where I live today. That is where we're going.
You expect us to believe that?
If you wish. Tomorrow, you'll see for yourself.
All right, then for tonight, we'll let it pass. Now for the second question.
Why are you going there? My dear fellow, you're going there to fight. You're going for the hardest fight of your life.
So that's it. Well, let me tell you, Buster. Joe will belt the ears off any bum you're putting a ring with him.
There won't be any ring, Pony.
He'll cold cock your bum and any round you name.
There won't be any round.
Joe will kill him.
Or Joe himself might be killed. You see, Pony, this fight will be to the death.
We got there the next night. A little island and a mantle of fog that hung solid as grease over land and sea. The dock gave way to a worn stone path. And suddenly, out of the fog, an enormous structure appeared with towers and battlements plunging so high they were lost in the gloom.
Look at it. Like a castle or something.
Not as big as Radio City, but almost.
You like it, Joe?
I'd like it better if you'd keep that cannon out of my spine.
I apologize, Joe, but I cannot chance your escaping the fog. The fog is most forgettable. Usually the view from here is magnificent.
Yeah. On a clear day, you can see Catalina.
Or at least the African mainland. I admire your talent for jokes in so sane a situation.
The situation's impossible. You kidnapped me to kill or be killed for your amusement. And now you regret that the view is not up to par.
You're shocked, Joe, simply because my values differ from yours.
Well, that's a mild way of putting it.
You're shocked because you might die for my amusement.
Death is not amusing. Where I come from.
Where you come from. I assure you I am equally shocked by the values of your world.
At least we've gone a couple of thousand years from barbarism.
You've gone from barbarism to decadence without touching civilization.
We don't kill men for amusement.
I often wonder what you kill them for. Yet the killing goes on, year after year. What's war but mass murder?
All right, but basically our way of life...
Basically, you have no way of life. You have a culture of gadgets, to which no one has contributed anything of value since the Romans invented the bathtub.
Don't argue with him, Joe. It is getting us nowhere.
Right, my dear. Anyway, this is as far as I go.
What's on the other side of the wall?
You'll find out. As soon as I find the key. Here it is. Inside, this is it. And make yourself at home. I'm your slave.
Yeah. Or vice versa. The iron door swung shut, and we were in an ancient Roman village. The stone walls surrounding us must have been 8 feet thick and about 4 times as high, and notched along the top with saw teeth. Mud huts crouching in the soupy night formed an irregular circle around the deserted marketplace, just like those pictures in a first-year Latin book. Only Uncle Julius had tricked up the joint with a few of the modern gadgets he so much despised.
Look, Joe. On top of the wall, between the notches.
Yeah. Machine gun. Searchlight.
About every 50 yards. Like a concentration camp.
Joy. What are we going to do?
You keep asking me that.
Would you keep ducking the answer?
I don't know. Maybe we ought to dig up some local talent. Maybe we could talk to them.
What do you suppose they speak?
Maybe Latin. You know any Latin?
A pig Latin, I know. I could talk it like a native when it was the thing around Jacob's speech. Hey, what's that? Joe. Look at him.
I looked at the man who came out of the fog. His face was scarred, and his shoulders were like a pair of shovels, and great welts of muscle shifted when the shovels moved under the thin toga. One of his hands was curved like half a watermelon around what seemed to be a lash, a double strip of rawhide studded with iron spikes. He was the biggest man I ever saw.
You are Scarlatti. I am Crixus.
Nice to meet you.
I come from Caesar.
Caesar?
Caesar Varinius. He talked to me a long time. Explain to Scarletti, he say. Answer questions, tell him what to expect. I tell you what to expect in one word.
What is the word, Crixus?
Death.
Anyway, he speaks English.
Death is the same in any tongue.
What makes you so sure I'll die?
Because tomorrow in the combat, I kill you.
Well, you look like the kid who could do it.
Caesar said to show you this.
Now, what is it? A lash?
It is cestus, the gauntlet. You wear it, so. One in each hand with the leather thongs tied to the arm, and the iron studs over the knuckles.
What a weapon. You fight with this?
Of course.
Yeah, but what if Joe don't want to fight?
Those who will not fight are killed by the guns.
And there is no way out? No way to escape?
3 men tried in last few months, and 2 last year.
They were killed by the guns?
They were killed by the gladiators.
But why?
You see, it would be difficult for Caesar if the slave escaped and talked. So Caesar has made it difficult for all of us. He wired the island with enough explosive to blow it off the earth. If the slave escapes, Caesar touches a button, and whoa! It is the end of us all. He is very clever, Caesar.
Crixus, how many gladiators are there here?
Once 120. Now me. And you.
How many men on the guns?
12 guns on the wall. 24 men. Each gun is placed to cover all the others. Clever.
But they're about 50 yards apart. A man might slip between them in the fog.
There are searchlights.
What do you think, Joe?
The fog, Pony. The lights are useless in the fog.
Yeah, but how can we climb the wall?
Crixus, each gladiator had a pair of these gauntlets, right?
Of course.
Where are they now?
In that chest over there.
Yeah, it's locked.
Of course. I have the key.
Well, come on, open it, Crixus.
Why?
Look, we'll tie them together and make a rope with a loop on one end. We'll swing the loop over a notch on top of the wall.
No, Scarlatti. No. Not while I am here.
You would rather fight than be free?
If I kill Scarlatti tomorrow, I am free. Caesar has said it.
And if you don't kill me, you'll be dead.
I kill you like a fly.
This joke's lined up with Lenny's. I hate to think of tomorrow.
Yeah. I guess I'll have to tangle with him tonight.
What you say, Scarlatti?
Nothing, Crixus. Just leave.
Boy, you sure clobbered.
All right, let's find that key. Now, here it is. Come on.
Yeah.
All right, Pony, now take these gauntlets and tie him up. Tie him up good.
He'll never get out.
Use one for a gag.
Right.
Silent tight, Joe. You think they will hold?
I don't know, baby. But in about 10 minutes, we're going to find out. I missed the first try, but the second, caught and held. And I went up, hand over hand. And then the rope tightened below me as Lucretia and Pony began to climb. The machine gun was about 60 feet away, somewhere beyond the fog. But the whistling of the gunner was a guide. Foghorn. All right. Now down the other side.
What's that? He must have bit through the leather jacket.
Get on! Come on, run for the boat. There's the boat, Lucretia. Come on. Just a little further.
All right. Cast off, pony.
Not just yet. Put up your hand.
Not this time, Perennius.
Stay back. I kill all of you.
Maybe one of us, but one of us will get you.
Stay back. Stay back.
Joe. Joe, are you hurt?
No, not much. Get aboard.
Has it hurt you much, Joe? Your wound?
No.
Look, Joe. The sun. The fog is gone. There's the African coast.
Yeah? Look over there, you see? The island of Verenius.
Joe! There is smoke coming from it.
Look at it.
Oh, Joe, it blew it up. The whole island.
Yeah? In a few hours, the water won't even be muddy out there.
Joe?
Yeah.
There's only one thing wrong with this whole lash up.
What is that for?
Nobody's going to believe any part of this now.
Under the direction of Norman MacDonald, Escape has brought you The Gladiator by Millard Kaufman, starring Bill Conrad. Featured in the cast were Lou Krugman, Ted Osborne, and Lillian Buyeff, with Paul Frees and Byron Kane. The special music for Escape is composed and conducted by Leith Stevens.
Next week, escape with us to the Yellow Sea and the story of a man who fought the entire Japanese Navy with an ancient submarine and an untrained crew, as Alec Hudson tells it in his exciting story, Up Periscope.
Sweet checks, nice checks, and good hot Ralston present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed adventure, Buzz and Happy are exploring a deserted city on the planet Saturn. As they enter a room filled with precious gems, a stealthy figure slinks to the door and aims a ray gun at them.
Look out, Commander. He's got a ray gun. He's firing.
Quick, Hap, run down that passage.
Keep going, Happy. He's right behind him. It's dark in here. He won't be able to see it. Commander, it's a dead-end passage. We're trapped.
We'll be back in just a moment with today's Space Patrol story, The Forgotten City. It's the cereal of the future, the real space cereal. A cereal that's different from any other cereal in the universe. The cereal you see on Commander Corey's own breakfast table. Delicious Rice Chex, the cereal with a flavor like no other flavor in all the universe. Delicious Rice Chex, crisp shredded rice, spun in that modern bite-sized design for easy eating. delicious Rice Chex, a real space cereal. Gang, those bite-sized biscuits have space inside so they can fill up with milk or cream. Try Rice Chex today, the only bite-sized rice cereal in the universe. Rice Chex, the only official Space Patrol rice cereal, Rice Chex. The super cereal that helps to supercharge you. Rice Chex at your grocers in the brand new red and white checkerboard package with Buzz Courier Cadet Happy on the outside and the magic space picture on the inside. Rice Chex. Rice Chex. And now, today's Space Patrol adventure, The Forgotten City. Buzz and Happy are flying low over the Cinder Mountains on the planet Saturn, searching for a trace of a meteorology specialist, believed to have crashed in his atmosphere ship in the rugged region. So far, their spaceophone receiver has failed to pick up a signal from the automatic transmitter carried by the scientist, Byron Stern.
Professor Stern's transmitter must have finally talked out, Commander.
According to Space Patrol status, we're very close to the point from which the signal came. Watch the viewscope, Hap, we may be able to spot the wreckage.
Must have been a pretty rugged crash to knock out that automatic transmitter.
Let's hope Stern's had time to get into a spacesuit. If the ship hull was smashed, he couldn't survive very long in this part of Saturn.
Well, what was it he was trying to tell Space Patrol just before the emergency transmitter cut out?
Well, there was a lot of interference, Happy, almost like a jamming signal according to Space Control. The operator thought Stearns was telling him about sighting another atmosphere ship making close passes at him.
Something? They're on a lab ship?
Well, if he can prove something was responsible for whatever happened to Professor Stearns, then pilot would be grounded permanently.
And if he saw Professor Stearns was in trouble, he probably got away from this area as fast as he could. We may not be able to trail him.
Well, we'll see. If that was the case, the pilot was further negligent in not notifying Space Control if the lab ship was in trouble. We'll just keep searching. The last signal from the professor's emergency transmitter tells us that his ship was grounded.
I hope he didn't end up in one of those narrow ravines.
There's a chance he might have landed on the other side of the mountain range. Go around that peak and circle back.
Commander, am I having hallucinations?
What do you mean?
Well, I was sure we were hundreds of degrees from the nearest city, but isn't that an atmosphere, Carol, way up there on that mountain?
Well, it certainly is. It's no hallucination. That's the dome of Rubeck.
Rubeck?
Yes, Rubeck, the forgotten city of Saturn.
Well, what's it doing up there in the Sundar range?
It was built centuries ago by one of Saturn's first space pioneers, a man named Lucian Rubeck, the last remaining privately owned city in the solar system.
It doesn't look very big by modern standards. Still, it's pretty impressive, stuck way up there in the mountains.
It's been deserted for nearly 100 years, Happy. Lucian Rubeck's descendants lived there for several generations, and they gradually drifted away to the larger cities on the planet.
The forgotten city. I'd like to visit it someday.
It's pretty interesting. I understand it may be reopened by the government as a museum and put to some other use. That is, if none of the surviving Rubeck family object.
Well, why should they object? They are using the place.
Technically, it's still their property. The government's legal staff has been trying to locate the Rubeck heirs. Plenty are still alive.
Control Saturn, calling Commander Corey aboard Terra 5. Control Saturn, calling Commander Corey.
Corey here, go ahead.
Commander, Space Patrol ship is located Professor Stern.
Is he all right?
Oh, yes, sir. He was wearing a spacesuit wandering around the
Vulcan range. That's 100 DU from the Sundar region.
Yes, sir. The automatic transmitter could have been out of adjustment.
I'm glad he's been found. Did he say how he crashed?
He wasn't able to get much information, Commander, and we haven't found records of the ship.
Where is he now?
Being brought to Saturn City Hospital. Send him to care of a space surgeon.
Withdraw all patrols except the squadron in the Vulcan lane. Let's proceed with the search till Stern's ship is found.
Yes, ma'am.
Corey out.
That's rather strange, isn't it, sir?
About Stern showing up in the Vulcan lane? Yes, sir. I'm a bit confused about his exact location. The important thing is he's safe.
Yeah, and very lucky. That would have been to stay at the wrecked ship instead of wandering through the mountains.
It gives Stern a chance to recover from his ordeal before we question him. In the meantime, are you still curious about the forgotten city?
Yes, sir.
And get out our spacesuit. We'll land outside the dome and do a little investigation.
Here's the lock control switch. It doesn't look so ancient. It's Imperium. As shiny as it was installed yesterday. Hope the power's still on. You'll know in a minute. I'll open the switch housing. Let's see. Should be inside. Oh, here we are. So far, so good. Now let's try the interlock and go into the next city. Once you get inside the dome, the city really looks big. 100 years ago, Rubeck Pat, check your atmosphere indicator. Yes. After 100 meters. I think you'll open the faceplate for our helmets.
Oh, it's really close. How do you account for that, Commander? Well, there are two explanations. The dome is so well constructed that none of the poisonous Saturn air is leaked in, or else the atmosphere washing plant is still in operation. After 100 years? It didn't have to work very often. Nothing inside the city shells to use up the air. Yeah, that's right. Smoking rockets, this is some city. Look at the tower up there. Rubeck Tower. Lucian Rubeck designed it himself. He had his headquarters in the top floor. And now Rubeck is a ghost city, completely deserted. Don't you realize how impermanent human beings are? Uh-oh. What is it, sir? What'd you find? I saw a dog on the sidewalk. Yeah. Probably thrown there by one of the last people to leave Rubeck. It's a medicine ball. Space sickness formula. CH25. And whoever threw it there hasn't been troubled with space sickness for 100 years. That's a sure. This is a new formula, I think. Hasn't been on the market more than 6 months. What? Your eyes open, Hank. Evidently, Rubeck City isn't as deserted as we thought.
Come in.
There are visitors in the city.
I know, sir. I've been watching them from the tower room. There's space patrol.
What are they doing here? We've got to get rid of them.
Don't get excited, sir. By their casual attitude, they must think the city's deserted.
But no one ever comes here. They must know something.
If they suspected what we're using the city for, they'd have brought more men with them. Let them snoop around. It isn't likely they'll come up here.
Suppose Grayson comes back while they're here.
I've contacted Grayson by spaceophone. He'll keep away from the city until the space patrolmen leave.
Did he get rid of the lab ship pilot?
Yes. Turn him loose in the Vulcan Mountains. The pilot's already been picked up.
Suppose he tells them he was shut down near Rubeck.
He's in a very dazed, confused condition. Grayson's all right. Space Patrol will assume the pilot was mistaken. Besides, you removed all trace of the wreckage of the ship.
Yes, and I destroyed the automatic transmitter.
Then there's nothing to worry about.
But old Hannah, the Space Patrol and the city...
I know why they're here. The government's getting ready to take over Rubeck.
We have to leave before they find the stolen jewels and space credits we hidden here.
They won't search the city when they find out I'm the great-great-granddaughter of Lucian Rubeck.
What? You are a descendant of Lucian Rubeck?
No, of course not. But I can convince the government I am. I'm having special documents forged in Saturn City right now. I'll be able to convince the most skeptical attorney that I'm really the only living legal heir to Rubeck City.
I hope so. But I still don't like the idea of those space patrolmen snooping around.
Let them snoop. And don't interfere.
This is some building, Commander. Rubeck's spent a fortune on this one building alone. The elevator, sir. Shall we go up to the tower? We could get a real good look at the city from here. Just a minute, Happy. Look at the carvings on this building. I bet anything Lucian Rubeck had this imported from the planet Earth. It looks like it all was taken from an ancient Oriental temple. From a deserted city on Earth to a deserted city on Saturn. Massive handle. You don't see metalwork of this kind anymore, Happy. Where this door leads. Yeah, there's a light on it. Flashed on automatically when I opened the door. Let's have a look. We'll go up to the tower later. Yes, sir. Oh, this must have been Lucian Rubeck's treasure room. That's amazing. Look at those gold and silver buckets. Those flashing candlesticks. Oh, look. An ancient platinum electric lamp store. I think Rubeck's descendants had thinned out everything of value from this land, apparently in the ground. Imagine all this stuff sitting here for hundreds of years and with no lock on the door. Oh, man, Happy. This object isn't 100 years old. Yeah, it's a model spaceship. Studded with jewels. It's a very recent model. Diamond and ruby. Happy, listen. Hear the sound of the door. Uh-oh. Look out, Commander. There's a man with a ray gun.
Hold your fire. We're space patrolmen.
That's why I am shooting.
Quick, Happy, down this passage.
You aren't going to escape that way.
Keep going, Happy's right behind us. Yes, sir. It's dark in here. He won't be able to see us.
Commander, it's a dead-end passage. We're trapped.
That's right. You're trapped. And I'm going to wait right here and pick you off. One at a time.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment. Hi, gang. Captain Dick Tufeld speaking from the planet Earth.
Doing a Man on the Street broadcast this morning to see what some of these kids here on Earth think about the 3 official Space Patrol breakfast cereals. Now, here's a sharp-looking lad. Say there, what'd you say the very first time you tried bite-sized wheat checks?
I said, mmm.
And here's another fine-looking chap. Son, what did you say the very first time you tried bite-sized rice checks?
I said.
And here's still another youngster. Tell me, what's your opinion of Instant Ralston, a hot super cereal made of rich whole wheat?
Man, oh, man, oh, man, oh, man.
Try 'em yourself, gang. You'll say the very same thing.
Mm-hmm. Man, oh, man, oh, man.
Yes, get 'em today, boys and girls. Rice checks, wheat checks, good hot Ralston.
And remember, checks now have a brand new package. The Buzz Courier, Cadet Happy on the outside, and the Magic Space Picture on the inside.
And now back to Space Patrol and the adventure of a forgotten city. Buzz and Happy were searching for an atmosphere ship crashed in the Cinder Mountains of Saturn near the deserted city of Rubeck. After learning from Space Control that the missing pilot has been found 100 VUs away, Buzz and Happy decided to visit the deserted city. They entered the atmosphere shell without any trouble. But, unknown to the Space Patrolman, Rubeck is being used by a woman named Orlana as a hideout for stolen jewels. While Buzz and Happy were examining a treasure room in the base of a tower, they were fired upon by Orlana's henchman, Shefka. Now, Shefka has them cornered in a darkened passage and is waiting to shoot them with his ray gun.
Don't try to sneak up on me. I can hear every move you make. I warned you.
I'll take that ray gun. Have you got him, sir? No, stay down, Happy. He broke loose after him, Hap. Yes, sir. Well, there he goes through that door. He's locked that door on this way on the spot. It's opening, sir. After him, quickly. He's in the elevator, Commander. Come out of there. Oh, he's going up to the tower. We'll take the stairs. Come on, Happy.
Oh, you fool. You blundering fool.
But they were in the treasure room at the base of the tower.
What if they were? Could have explained everything that's there. I have a difficult time now after idiotic interference.
I'm sorry, Orlana. I only did what I thought was best.
Hacking Space Patrolman. They'd never have known anyone was in the city to obey my orders.
What are we going to do now?
I'll have to face them and make an explanation. They're probably searching the tower now.
Hey, if you get me another gun, I could still fight them out.
No. Get me next room and contact Jason. Tell him to come in with his Space Patrol ships outside the shell and nothing.
I thought that...
You've done all the thinking you're going to do. And now I'll just do what I tell you. If I can explain our presence here, I can explain Drayton's. If the Space Patrol is skeptical, well, Drayton's a good man to have around.
Yes. Drayton can handle that.
If you keep your mouth shut, we will need Drayton. Now go on, make that Space Patrol close.
Yes, Orlana.
I'll go out and look out.
This is the top floor of the tower, sir. I'll be careful. I'll search every room. Where do I get my hands on a capture? Somewhere on the side of that door.
Oh, there you are. I was hoping I'd find you.
You're looking for someone, too.
Oh, you mean Shefka, my assistant. He told me what happened. I'm terribly sorry.
Where is he? I want to talk to him.
Please step in here. He'll be right out.
Thanks. Come on, Happy. Yes, sir. I'm Commander Corey of the Space Patrol.
And I'm Orlana Rubeck.
Rubeck? And you're related to the Lucian Rubeck who built this city.
Yes, that's right. He was my great-great-grandfather.
I was under the impression that the city was deserted.
Well, I came here a few months ago with a couple of servants. Shefka, the man who fired at you, has been with the family for years.
Does he always treat visitors so cordially?
Oh, really, I'm awfully sorry about that. Shefka has a great sense of loyalty. He thinks his chief duty is to protect me.
So why do you live here in this deserted city?
I'm not surprised if you're curious, but the explanation's very simple. I'm writing a book about my family.
You like to work in solitude, huh?
Yes, it's a great inspiration to work right here in Lubeck City, where so much of Saturn's history is now. And, too, there are many ancient records and family documents right at hand.
I see. I suppose that you can prove that you're a member of the Rubeck family.
Oh, naturally. I can refer to some influential people in Saturn City.
Oh. Now, would you bring your servant out here, please?
Yes, I'll be only a moment.
Yes, sir? What do you think? I don't know. Just writing a book is as good an explanation for being here as any. Matter of fact, a book about the Rubecks would no doubt be very popular. We'll see it. What's the matter? Look at this plastic folder. It was on the desk. Oh, that's right. Looks like a
Official identification folder. Okay, this is Baron Stone's ID folder. The lab ship pilot? Yeah. It was found in the Vulcan Mountains. The identification folder is here in Lubeck City. How could his... I presume nothing happened.
Here he is, Commander. This is Shefka.
Commander Corey, please accept my apology. I was greatly in the wrong. I acted in a mistaken sense of duty. If you thought we were intruders, there'd be some excuse, but have you forgotten that you seemed to accept the fact that we were space patrolmen at the time? Well, I acted on impulse, Commander. Again, I'm sorry. All right, Shefka. And Miss Rubeck.
Yes, Commander.
I was just telling Cadet Happy that a book on the Rubeck family ought to be very popular.
Well, I hope so, Commander.
I'd like to look over the first few chapters of your manuscript.
Well, as a matter of fact, I'm really in the note-gathering stage right now. There's really nothing down in manuscript form that anyone could read but myself.
Oh, I see. And would you show me around the tower? I imagine you must have a lot of time to curios.
Well, is this an official search, Commander?
No, I don't have a warrant, but if you object to an informal tour...
Oh, no, not at all. Chester and I'll be delighted to show you around.
Judging by a few items Happy and I saw down below, this ought to be very interesting.
Well, I think you've seen just about every room in the tower, Commander.
How about that room over there?
Oh, that's just a closet for a cleaning supplies.
Would you mind opening it?
Well, really, Commander,
Or I could come back with a warrant and squad a patrol.
Very well, if you insist. But there's really nothing in there. Unlock it, Shefka.
Joanna.
Open it, Shefka.
Well, some real old family heirlooms. Stacks of space credits. And very new. All that money in a closet for cleaning supplies?
I suppose it is rather odd. But then here in this deserted city, one place is just better than nothing.
I'd like to ask you something, Miss Rubeck. How do you happen to have an identification holder belonging to a space patrol scientist named Byron Stone?
Byron Stone? I don't understand.
Burns is reported in trouble in this area and was rescued in the Vulcan Mountain region. I'm waiting for an explanation, Miss Rubeck.
Drayton, get them.
Hold on.
Look out, Commander.
That takes care of the big one. Now for you, my smaller friend.
Take your big mitts off me.
Quit struggling or I'll break your arm.
Ow! I'll help you, Drayton.
Get away, Captain. I can handle it.
You got here just in time, Drayton.
What are you doing?
They just wandered in. They know about that lab ship pilot. They found his identification folder.
Better take care of him for good.
I don't want any slip-ups this time, Drayton.
You better let me take care of it. He fumbled the last one.
Don't listen to him, Alana. I can fix it. Hold still, Cadet.
Ow! Oh, my shoulder.
Better hurt, still. Drayton's capable of breaking you in two.
Yeah. Shefka, too, if he doesn't keep his mouth shut.
That's enough of that, Drayton. I need both of you.
You see, you big Venus buffalo.
Shefka,
Stop that bickering.
Drayton's fault we're in this mess. He left the lab ship's pilot folder in your office.
That's enough of that shit. If it hadn't been for your stupid behavior, these men would never known you were here.
Well, what did he do, Alana?
Doesn't matter. I'll say one of us again.
Hold still, Cadet, or I'll fix you like I did the other time.
The other fellow is Commander Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol.
Oh. Oh, what do you think of that? I have knocked out the great Commander Corey.
That's just fine, Drayton. I've got more work for you to do.
Yes.
You and Shasta get rid of the commander's ship. Shasta take the ship far away from here and hide it securely. Drayton, you'll take my ship and bring Shasta back.
Very well.
First, we've got to dispose of Corey and the cadets. They're on the space items. Case Lubeck City searched by the Space Patrol. There's a room in the sub-basement of the tower. Seal them in there, Drayton. The room behind the stairs.
Yeah.
And make sure you seal the door up completely. I don't want anyone to suspect that there's even a room there.
You leave it to me, Orlan.
Chester, you help Drayton take those two down to sub-basement.
Yes, all right. Go ahead, Drayton.
Orlan, what did Shefka do while I was gone? He was to bring the space patrol in there, huh?
Just follow my orders, Drayton. And Chester, let's turn me that small group on the face. Both of you report to me and lay the hot.
Commander. We've got to do something quick. In a room in the sub-basement of the tower. Alana has one of the men seeing us up in here. Then they're going to get rid of our spaceship, so nobody will come looking for it. That big bruiser is out there. See, you can see through the window. I thought this room could use as a weapon. No, sir, I checked. All there is some old books and filing cases. There's Drayton grinning in here at us. He was getting ready to seal over the window. Certainly is. He carried me down here under one arm. What are we going to do, sir? I'm going to get him to open the door for me. Whatever we do, we've got to do it quickly. I see what we can do, sir. The door's locked and practically sealed. And when breaking and check to get rid of Terra 5, nobody will ever even come down here looking for it. It is shut. Up on the surface level, I think. So don't they break us. I don't think those two like each other. They both seem to go out of their way to make the other look stupid in front of Orlando. They do. Drayton kept asking questions about what went on while he was away. I got the impression he wasn't very smart, but he was awfully inquisitive. And suspicious, perhaps. Let's see how curious it really is. Let's go to work on those books and filing cabinets, Captain. Huh? You take the files, act as though you found something about Drake and point at him. Pretend you found some information about him. Get it? As though Orlando had a secret file on her henchman who had it. The idea. You can arouse Drayton's curiosity. You watch this, Captain? Sure is. He stops the minute at the door and he's gawking in through the window. Point at it again, all right. So it's a great joke. It doesn't matter what you say. Point at the files. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hey, what a dope this Drayton is. You know, he's just about dumb enough to tear down that concrete and open the door and find out what we're doing in here.
Get up.
Yeah. Hey, look at that big, dumb face. Hey, he's just aching to know what we found in here in the files, Commander.
You don't think he can open the door? No. That's very interesting in the file.
He comes.
Hey, what have you got in there?
Nothing.
Oh, don't try to fool me. I've been watching you through the door. What does it say about me in those files?
Would there be anything about you in here, Drayton?
There's something in there. I know it. Some nice Shepka told Alana. That's it. Shepka's up there now laughing at me. He figures he's tricked me into sealing up evidence against myself, right where he can get his hands on him when he needs it.
Drayton, there's nothing in these files about you.
Get out of the way. You can't fool me, Corey.
Well, I guess that's right.
Corey, you can't.
I've got him, Commander.
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah, right. Me, will you? Now, Corey.
No, now, you Drayton.
Yes. Hey, Commander, you're not Drayton cold. Yeah. Let's get out of here before he comes to.
Chester, hasn't Drayton finished sealing up that room yet?
No, Orlando. But I could have done it in half the time.
Clumsy oaf. We've got to get Corey's ship away from New York City right away.
While Drayton and I are gone, you might hide the stolen money and jewels just in case the Space Patrol squad comes here.
It's a good idea. We won't take any chances. Go down to sub-basement and see what's taking Drayton so long.
I'm afraid that Drayton got a little too curious, Alana.
Corey! Shipka, do something!
Come back here, Shipka boy.
Get him, Happy.
Let go of me.
Come on, Shipka. I've got him, Commander.
Take Shepka's ray gun. Go down and bring Drayton up here.
Yes, sir. Oh, Commander, while I'm down there, shall I bring up some of those files?
What for?
Well, sir, I just thought that Orlando might really decide to write a book about Rubeck, because, well, after all, now she's going to have plenty of time on her hands. Ah!
A preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure follows in just a moment. It's a fire. A 4-alarm blaze on Terra. But, hey, what's the matter with that atomic fire-controlled jet car? Oh, too bad. It's trying to get along on ordinary fuel. That fire control officer's filling the tank up with super fuel. Wow! Listen to that fire-controlled jet car go now. It's supercharged, that's what. Supercharged with super fuel. Yes, sir, boys and girls. To really get going, the answer is super fuel. That's why Buzz Corey eats a good breakfast with the super cereals that help to supercharge you. Rice Chex and Wheat Chex. Ah, there's a couple of really swell-tasting cereals. And both of them have that modern, bite-sized design for easy eating. So, gang, get a quick start in the morning like Buzz Corey does. Eat a good breakfast with a checkerboard super cereal and get supercharged. Get them today. Rice Chex and Wheat Chex in the grand new packages with Buzz Corey or Cadet Happy on the outside and the magic space picture on the inside. And now, an exciting action preview of next week's Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy are searching for a saboteur in the vat room of a plastics factory on Jupiter. Cautiously, they duck under pipes of hot gas feeding into the vats. All right, keep your ray gun ready.
Yes. Ow. Wilbur was right about these pipes being hot.
Be careful. He's not behind this one. Let's try number 2.
Wow. What was that?
The pipes has exploded. Blew a valve, probably.
Can rockets feel that heat?
Come on. We got to get out of here.
throat. I can't breathe.
It's the gas in the broken pipe. That gas is poison.
Be sure to be with us next Saturday for the exciting story, The Vanishing Lake, when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Ralston again bring you Space Patrol! Special bulletin for boys and girls in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and Knoxville, Tennessee. Buzz Corey's own space battle cruiser, the Ralston Rocket, will be in your area next week. Don't miss it. The Ralston Rocket. Space Patrol, an original Mike Moser production starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Glenn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston and directed by Larry Robertson. Other players were Bela Kovac, Ken Mayer, Virginia Hewitt, and Stephen Robertson. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Ralston again present the new exciting Space Patrol. Be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol program on your local ABC television station. Consult your local paper for time and channel. Space Patrol comes to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.